And welcome everybody to the Jim Masters Show Live. How are you and you and you, everybody all around the world? We welcome you to a special episode of our broadcast. We are going to be doing a special 9/11 tribute and remembrance. And also we have a terrific guest joining me here on the show, actor and singer BART SHATTO. He's joining us here and he'll be here in just a moment. We hope everybody is doing well. We hope you're having a good day, again, around this country, here in the United States, and really around the world. We're paying tribute to those we lost in 9/11, September 11th, 2001. It's hard to believe that it's been 19 years since that fateful day on September 11th, 2001. And I bet you remember where you were when you heard that news or you turned on your television, wherever you are around the world, experiencing that horrific day. I was actually on the phone talking to my sister. We were having a conversation, and all of a sudden, popping on the television was this event in New York and in Pennsylvania, and of course in Washington, D.C., that has forever changed the lives of so many people. Matter of fact, being in the New York area and growing up in New York on Long Island myself, there were a lot of different people that we all knew who were affected by the events of 9/11, especially with the World Trade Center and the Twin Towers. There was a couple of folks that I knew growing up in our town in New York on Long Island, who were sort of childhood friends who passed away actually in the Twin Towers, in the North Tower. So there's probably, in the United States, if not in the greater New York tri-state area, somebody who knows somebody who was lost on that fateful day. So we're taking a moment. We're going to have BART with us as well, and we're going to have a wonderful time with him. He's going to be performing live. We have some very special music. We have some terrific video clips. We also have great photos and so much more. And he's been in a lot of great performances in Les Mis, of course, on Broadway. He's a part of Trans-Siberian Orchestra, the TSO, which, you know, I've had a great relationship with years and years and years of connection with them. Through my work on public television, of course, and supporting the music for a long, long time. And he's been in a whole host of incredible productions and so much more. So we're going to have a good time, as well as also pay a moment or two of tribute to 9/11. So we welcome you from all around the world. We have a special clip, actually, that many of you have asked me to show. Initially, we weren't going to show it on this episode, because we have our special guest and we have a lot of content and a lot to share with you today. But I posted some photos on the Facebook page of Jim Masters TV of a television news segment that I anchored, hosted, and reported for Close-Up Television and Radio in New York, one of the hats that I wear in television and radio. And so many of you said, oh, can you show it? Can you show it? Can you show it? And what it is a very special presentation we did with Close-Up Television in New York, where I was at the National Memorial Grounds for 9/11, the 9/11 National Memorial, which is in New York City, of course, in Lower Manhattan, where the Twin Towers were. And it's a very peaceful and moving and beautiful, beautiful place. And we were there filming. And it was a very special, unique thing to be able to do that. You can't just show up there with a camera. You can't just show up there, you know, with any kind of paraphernalia. And this is pre-COVID and pre-anything. This was in 2015 where we were there. And very special people we had an opportunity to meet, who I interviewed on the radio multiple times, on Close-Up Radio. And they are the Santora family, and really beautiful, beautiful people. And Maureen and Al Santora, their son was a part-time firefighter as well as a teacher in New York, and they lost him in 9/11. She, an educator for many years in the New York City school system, and Al, a lieutenant for the fire department in New York. So they lost him, their son, and they created a fantastic foundation where one student gets selected every year in the New York City school system based on an essay that they write that is inspiring and powerful and empowering. And that student that gets selected each year gets a $50,000 scholarship from the Christopher Centura Memorial Scholarship Fund that they can use towards furthering their education. So it's a very beautiful thing that Al and Maureen Centura have done in memory of their son, Christopher, who was lost. He was there with his company, the other firefighters, when they were trying to help out things that were happening in the south tower of the Twin Towers. And then when the tower collapsed, I believe it had landed on their truck, and it flew the truck blocks away, and that was that. And he was in his early 30s. So it's a very special moving piece where we, the crew and I, the television crew and I, were able to visit the National Memorial for 9/11 on location in New York and film this segment that was really, it's been awarded and it's received a lot of wonderful attention, but the breadth of the story is really telling their story and the beauty of it. So we were there, and it's a very special television news segment, and again, part of my professional work. And so many of you saw the pictures that I had put on Facebook, and you said you wanted to see it. So I said, you know what, let me change a couple of things around quickly here, see if I can get it out of the archive. And we're going to share it with you right now here on the show. And then we're going to welcome BART to the program, and he's got a very special song he's going to kick off the show with. And then he's got another song as well. And we just have a wonderful show, a very special episode of our show in store for you tonight. So we hope you are having a good day wherever you are around the world. We're always here to put smiles on your faces, to lighten the load, to lift up, everybody that's watching. And again, that's what this show is all about. It's inspiration, it's positivity, it's information, entertainment, and education. We're going to entertain you today as much as celebrate and remember September 11th. So here is that award-winning television news segment that I did with the crew in New York on location at the National Memorial, 9/11 Memorial, and the grounds there. And we hope you enjoy it. Again, I pulled this out of the archives because so many of you wanted to see it. And again, this is one of the hats I wear in my professional work, one of the shows that I anchor for, report for, and have hosted for about 16 years, actually, close-up television and radio in New York. So here is that television news segment on location at the National Memorial and Museum 9/11 in New York. And we hope that you enjoy it. And again, it's a very moving segment. And even when I see it again, it is quite moving. And I think you're going to, hopefully you're moved as well. They're wonderful people. And the fact that, again, they are doing this, this wonderful scholarship in honor of their son, it's just absolutely really a beautiful thing that they're doing. Okay, so here's the close-up television news segment for you to enjoy, and we appreciate it. Here we go. We're here at the 9/11 Memorial Site in Manhattan in New York City. And in just a moment, I'm going to be joined by Al and Maureen Centura. They are the parents of firefighter Christopher Centura, who was lost back on September 11th, 2001. We're going to talk about a very important scholarship that they created in his memory, which actually provides funds for kids furthering their education, and also 3 very important books that teach youngsters lessons and about the importance of remembering 9/11. A very important story here from the 9/11 Memorial.
He was the only boy with 3 sisters. He was the most vocal. He was a history buff, and when he was a little boy, he wanted to be a firefighter. So, he fulfilled his dream. He became a teacher, taught history, and he became a firefighter. And he was our joy and delight, and sometimes very aggravating, but we loved him unconditionally.
Christopher wanted to be a firefighter, as Maureen said, since he was a little boy. And to get into the fire department in New York City, it's a very rigorous process. He had to take a written test, which he got 100, and then he had to do the physical, which he got 100 on as well. He was already substitute teaching in New York City. He had gotten his degree in American history. He was offered a permanent position, but he knew he was going to be selected in the first group when the list came out. So he declined because he didn't want to leave the kids in the middle of the semester. And as it turned out, he got appointed in February of 2001. I was very proud of him. He got a company in Midtown Manhattan, Engine 54, and that's where he wound up too.
Well, the scholarship fund requires all the applicants to write an essay on a selected topic. It's always history, current events focused. There are two requirements. The students have to be American citizens, and they have to have a B in history. Their essays are judged on answering the question, spelling and grammar, focusing on the topic in a creative, unusual way, and answering it with a personal voice. And the highest scoring essay is the winner. And then we have a dinner dance every year, which we've had for the last 14 years. The high school students receive $8,000 scholarship, and this year we gave over $56,000 in scholarships. Our son loved life, and he loved history, and he, felt that the story needed to be told truthfully. And to my knowledge, there are no books written specifically for young children to explain what happened. And so I didn't want kids to be frightened or scared with the terrible visual images that, you see on the TV every year. And I wanted their parents, I wanted their educators to be able to explain the day in a way that they would be able to understand. So the first book, The Day the Towers Fell, is the story of 9/11. And the message of that book is that hatred is a terrible thing. And people who have hatred in their heart end up with a horrible life, and as a person you get to choose whether you are hateful or not. The second book, I wrote that book to talk about my son as he was growing up and tell children that, he wasn't a perfect person. He got into trouble in school, he talked too much, he sometimes didn't want to do homework, he, was like every other little kid, and and I wanted kids to know that no matter what he did, I loved him unconditionally. He was my boy, and for the rest of his life, I will love him forever. And then the third book is a collection, and it's for older children. It's for the middle school and high school. And it's a collection of stories about how tough it was to grow up. So that's the message of the third book, that, if you hang in there, and even though you screw up sometimes and make mistakes, you end up being a great adult. After 9/11, the very best of humanity came out in everybody. People were kinder, they were more generous, they were more patient, they were more tolerant, they helped each other, and that needs to continue. We forget that, and we go back to our old way of, pushing ahead or getting in the front of the line or having to be number one, and those don't lead to a happy, joyful life.
So as you can see, Maureen and Al Santora have truly made this their life's calling as they continue to spread the word, the lessons about 9/11 to children and really to all of us. And all of us at CUTV News commend the work of the Santoras as they make this their calling for the rest of their lives in the memory of their son, Christopher Santora. Reporting from the 9/11 Memorial in New York City, I'm Jim Masters, CUTV News. Let's bring the mic back up. Okay, very special and very moving tribute again to Christopher Santora. That is his parents, the Santoras, and again every year they rewarding $50,000 to one lucky student. And as you see, she's also penned those beautiful books in remembrance as well, and the children's books and so much more. And that's what it's all about. I mean, it's beautiful to be able to do that and for them to celebrate their son's life and at the same time be able to be so passionate about it and to be able to speak, so fluidly with such a traumatic loss. It's a beautiful thing because it inspires so many others. So that was a very moving report that I was tasked to put together for Close-Up Television in New York. And we had so much feedback when we were there. And the Centaurs, again, we've stayed in touch with them. They're beautiful people. So we just wanted to share that because, again, a lot of you wanted to see that. You asked about them and you said, can you get them on the show? So I said, why don't I just show the actual news report that we did featuring them as well. We have, we're going to just check with a couple of our viewers here. Beautiful tribute to Christopher. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And we're going to just greet a few of the viewers, and then we're going to welcome our very special guest on the show. Crystal in Connecticut. Hi, Jim and everyone. Happy Friday. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Looking forward to another exciting show with conversation. Great conversation on levity. Absolutely. Hi, Jim and all the lovities from Merlin and Canada. Mary Bishop, hello. Remembering all our fallen heroes from now and September 11th, 2001, watching on YouTube. Willie sends flowers from Holland. We thank you very much. Julianne says, hi, Jim. Thank you very much. We appreciate that as well. Anne is watching in SoCal. Hope you're having a wonderful day as well. Thank you very much from MG, who's watching on YouTube. Sharon DeMaria, God bless America as we remember this sad day. Absolutely. Marilyn in Wichita. Good evening, Jim, and all the lovities. We appreciate that. Linda as well. Good to see you in Florida. Renee in Iowa. Avril in United Kingdom, sending levity to us all. And right back at you. Bernadette is here. God bless America. Prayers for the heroes and families. Yeah. Hero firefighter. Absolutely. Hello, all the lovities. June as well saying hello. Everybody saying hello, which is wonderful. Kathleen is here. Hi, all. Good to see you, Kathleen. Francis, God bless everyone. I also say hello to all. There was a man from your town there for a meeting that was trying to help people get out of the buildings, and he lost his life. That's Renee in Iowa. Hello, Jim Lovities. Thank you for doing this. My pleasure. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Linda. We appreciate that. Thank you, Jim, for all the photos. Say my pleasure. Thinking about states, friends, and family. Hi to all the Lovities and Jim from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Very much remember 9/11. My sister was working at the commissary here in Virginia Beach, and they had to leave there as well. U.S. for Rhonda Murphy. And Bernadette says, I had many civilian police and firefighter loved ones and friends in Manhattan that day. All escaped but one, my dear friend and neighbor, a firefighter who was a hero that day as well. Willie in Holland, thank you for the story about Al and Maureen and about their son Christopher. Thank you. You're very welcome. You're all very welcome. Beautiful tribute to Christopher. Thank you. We appreciate that. That was a very moving. The 9/11 National Memorial there is a very moving place. We only had 15 minutes. That's all we were allotted because you had to go through security. You had to get all these press passes. You had to get all these clearances. So we had 15 minutes tops to film everything, the open, the close, the middle part, the interviews with them. 15 minutes to get that entire news report done and over because we were given 15 minutes from security because you're not allowed to just show up with cameras, and we had clearances from security and press passes and everything. So because it's a very special place and it's very guarded and protected as it should be. So and a lot of the families are there too. So you want to be respectful of the families and folks, visitors from around the world who go there to pay their respects. So we were very cognizant of that, and we wanted to be very, we wanted to be out of the way. We just wanted to spend the time with Al and Maureen as they have the tribute to their son. So we had 15 minutes to get everything right. We weren't live. It all got edited, and then all the other photos and music got edited in New York later. But as far as being on the premises, 15 minutes to get everything in and out. So that was really something, but it all worked out beautifully. Very moving. Thank you, Rhonda and Kathleen and Mary. We appreciate that as well. And again, Bart's going to come up, and Bart's going to have a wonderful tribute as well here on our show. Renee, welcome to Bart. Beautiful tribute. Love the books. Yeah, the books are absolutely beautiful. They have them there on their website. Thank you very much, Willie and Crystal. And Jennifer stands up and salutes everyone on 9/11, all that helped and all who were lost and their families and friends on 9/11. We'll never forget. Salute. And Soraya says, hi, Jim. I do remember that day. Your cat passed away 2 years ago on this day, 2018. Very nice tribute to Christopher Santora. Yes. Well, we appreciate all that love and glad you guys enjoyed it. And it was my pleasure to quickly shift things around real fast so we can get that on for you. And now, speaking of on to our very special guest. I'm very excited to have him here on the show. We've been planning this for a while, and what better time than 9/11 to have him here, because he does have a couple of moving pieces he's going to share with us. Hailed as a star performer, Bart SHATTO has made his mark on Broadway, TV, concert, and beyond. As a member of the original Broadway casts of the Tony-nominated Hands on a Hard Body and the Civil War, he has also been seen on Broadway in War Paint, the iconic role of Jean Valjean in Les Miserables, and as well the origination of the role of Quincy Morris in Dracula. Helen Hayes nominated for the Ford's Theater production of The Civil War. He has worked with award-winning directors of all kinds. Regionally, he has performed at renowned regional theaters, including the Paper Mill Playhouse, Actors Theater of Louisville, LA Theater as well, Ford's Theater, and the BART Theater, and much more. He's been seen in principal roles on the National Broadway Tour, Les Miserables, Cats, and the Civil War. Television credits include guest appearances on Murphy Brown, NBC's Chicago Med, Fox Family's Ghost Stories, and the soap opera on CBS, Guiding Light. He co-stars in the feature film Freedom opposite Cuba Gooding Jr., available on Netflix, independent feature Reunion 108, and the musical film Life of an Actress. That's really cool. With a cast album produced by Broadway Records. Also a voiceover artist, Bart can be heard as the voice of Gaspard's Papa in the animated series for Disney Junior, Gaspard and Lisa. Now, as a singer, he's a veteran member of the gold and platinum selling symphonic progressive rock band Trans-Siberian Orchestra. You may remember we had Dina Fanai and Bob Kinkle, my friends who were very involved with the TSO, also here on the show. TSO, of course, has sold over 10 million concert tickets and 10 million concert albums, and they've been very close friends of public television. I've hosted many of those concerts and also emceed many of those concert events. Playing to 1 million fans each season, too. Billboard magazine ranked TSO the top 25 touring artists of the decade. Cast albums for Bart also include Stephen Schwartz's Children of Eden and Tara Tremendous. Bart's solo show, Back to Broadway, Heroes, Villains, and Dreamers, was to be produced at Feinstein's 54 Below later this year, but of course we have what's happening in this year now. When not engaged in the performing arts, Bart fills his time teaching and mentoring young performers. We talk a lot about that here on our show, practicing his newfound love of transcendental meditation, which is also something really good, and spending time with his family. We are very happy to have him here on the show and to welcome him to the Jim Masters Show Live. He is all positioned, and we'll welcome him. And then he has a very special song that he is going to share with us here on the program. So we're excited to have him here, and we welcome everybody who's tuning in on our special show today. Bart, welcome to the show. It is great to have you with us, live and direct from New Jersey. How are you?
Good evening.
How are you today?
I'm better now that I've seen your lovely face.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's very kind of you to say that. And we've been prepping and getting everything together for the show, and that's a beautiful thing. You want to perform something special for us right away, right? What would you like to perform for us right now?
Yes, if you can hear the accompaniment, let's hope you can. This is from the musical Bridges of Madison County, based on the famous novel They made a musical out of it, which was on Broadway for a while, and I got to play one of the roles in Chicago. So this is a song called "It All Fades Away" that I would like to present to you guys. And thanks so much for coming out.
Absolutely. That's beautiful. A beautiful introduction. We'll take it away and toss it off to you, Bart, there in your home studio. And we look forward to this presentation. Here is our very special guest performing live, Bart SHATTO. Take it away.
There was something in the desert. There was some place wild and green, and a child in the village like seen. There are places that I've traveled, and so many things I've seen, and it all fades away. I was sliding down the mountain. I was burning in the sun. I was crying with amazement at you. I was capturing a moment, but when all is said and done, and it all fades away for you. It all fades away. It all fades away. It all fades away. I have sailed across the oceans, past the cities and the farms, on a never-ending quest for something new. And the only thing that mattered were those 4 days in your arms, and it all fades away. It all fades away. It all fades away. It all fades away with you. There is one thing that's eternal, cannot be torn apart. There is one thing that remains forever true. Past the thinking, past the breathing, past the beating of my heart, it will all fade away. But it all fades away. It all fades away. It all fades away for you. It all fades away. It all fades away. It all fades away. With you. You.
Very moving and very beautiful, Bart. Yeah, that is very, very touching. That song means a great deal to you, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, and it's a dream goal of mine as well. And
Yeah.
so, but yeah, I mean, we've all lost love, you know.
Yeah.
So we've lost people that we've loved, and um, there are people out there that made a great impact in our lives. And
Yes.
this is a story about that. Even though people complain, well, it's about infidelity, but you know, it really is about, if you look beyond that, love transcends everything. So that's why I love the song so much.
Really, really beautiful. Um, Again, it's a very special day that you're coming on as a guest, of course, and it's a very moving day as well. And a lot of people remembering 9/11. Do you remember where you were on 9/11?
I certainly do. I was actually in New York. So I was probably one of the hundreds or a few hundred of people that were actually performing a Broadway show. There were 23 Broadway theaters, of course, at the time, running. And I was in Les Mis. And I had just joined the Broadway company from the national tour. I was on the national tour for a year, covering the role of Valjean under a guy named Ivan Rutherford. So I was with the tour for a year, and they graduated me up to the Broadway company. And so I joined the Broadway company in August, and this happened on September 11th. I lived upstate New York at the time, and I happened to be in New York that morning because on the Upper West Side, Jim, I was up there. I was rehearsing for a new play, or actually a new show, a new musical. There was a reading of a World War II musical, and I was the first one to arrive, which was very odd because I'm not usually the first one to arrive to anything. And it was in a studio Upper West Side, and the rest of the cast had not got there yet. They had not arrived. And I went down to get a cup of coffee, and I was on this, and I heard there's a weird feel in the air. You know, for some reason, traffic hadn't stopped, but there were people on the curb with their doors open, listening to the radio, and the radio was blaring. And I went into the deli to get a coffee, and you could just hear a pin drop, which is not like New York, as you know. Am I still on? Okay.
Everybody seems to get thrown off lately when we give them a full screen. We're giving you the full. We're giving you the stage. I'm gonna have to let people know in advance when we give you the full screen. That means you got the screen.
Is this on?
It's it.
Anyway, so I'll just get back to the story real quick. So I want to cut that thread here. But yeah, I was in a New York deli, and then I heard the radio, and I heard people like murmuring to each other, and it was really quiet. I was like, there's something weird going on, and that's when I found out of what happened. Which I was on 72nd Street, so like around 72nd Street, Upper West Side area. Well, the rest of the cast arrived, and sort of somewhat all hell broke loose. Not really in a panic. When it comes to moments like that, and I just knew from the radio what was happening. I didn't know from the television. I didn't see it, but I just heard the news from the radio and from that telephone game of denizens from New York saying this happened and this happened. So I never actually got to see the shocking footage until I actually got home upstate New York. I ended up at an Applebee's until my ex-wife picked me up about 45 minutes from my actual house. And but after that, we got the news, and then it was like, okay, what do we do now, and how do we get out of here? But I have since talked to a friend of mine. She was the creator of this musical, and her name is Diane. And we have since sat down because I don't recollect a memory, but I said, Diane, what actually happened that day with us? And she said, Bart, I had to restrain you because you wanted to go down there and help. And I was like, what? I don't remember that. She said, no, you were dead set on just going down there to help. I was like, that doesn't sound like me.
A lot of people that day, they did things out of a reaction, a visceral
Yeah.
reaction to what was happening. Yeah.
Yeah, so she really literally had to restrain me, Jim, and she somehow convinced me to not go. And that is a very bittersweet thing where I wish I would have went, and then I'm glad that I didn't, because people that were exposed to the dust, I mean, there's these horrible after effects, with the survivors and with the first responders. So we made a plan to escape from New York and get out as quickly as possible, but there was no getting out as quickly as possible. So I literally ended up literally walking from 72nd Street to the George Washington Bridge. It was just en masse of hundreds of people, just like mass exodus, because there were no cabs available, nothing was available, town cars, anything like that. I mean, the city had literally just come to a standstill. And I got a call from Diane, and Diane was there on 72nd Street. She said, Bart, I got a ride for you. And I'm like, what? She said, I found this guy. He's got a town car or whatever, and he's gonna pick me up and he's gonna pick you up. I'm like, what? You're kidding me. It took me hours to get up to the George Washington Bridge. But see, when I get to that, in those kind of moments, Jim, it's like, if I lose my keys, I'll go crazy. But something like that, I somehow am able to see in my purview the bigger picture of what is happening and not roll up in a ball catatonic state. And I guess that's kind of a gift that I have, that I really remained calm and saw the bigger picture and all this, tried to be of service and try to help as much as I could, without going down there, putting myself in danger, but just helping others, whatever they needed. So once we get to the George Washington Bridge, we had our cell phones, and I got picked up by her, and so this driver, who happened to be, he was Middle Eastern of origin, because once we heard that this had happened, all the ears perk up, and the preconceived ideas come out about, oh, those people. And those people happened to be my driver to get me out of New York. And he saved us pretty much. I have my ex-wife and my son, Connor, were upstate New York, about 45 minutes north of New York in Orange County, where Woodbury Commons is. Some of you might know where that is. But I ended up getting dropped off about a half hour from there. And that's when I got to like an Applebee's. I said, just drop me off here. We got to the Applebee's, and that's when I saw the footage for the first time. And it was pretty powerful.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law was offered a terrific position with Cantor Fitzgerald, which was in the South
Yes.
Tower, about a month before, and he decided not to take it. He had another position offered, and they had, for a while, moved to the Raleigh-Durham area in North Carolina from New York. So instead of taking the position at Cantor Fitzgerald, which he interviewed for, which was in the South Tower, way up top, he something just gave him the opportunity to go to North Carolina and take this other position. Now they're in Florida. That was 1 month before.
Wow.
The person who did get the job, the person who brought him in to interview him, are gone. They perished. And I think it was like 600 or 700 other employees of Cantor Fitzgerald in the South Tower, when it collapsed, passed away. So something instinctively, he didn't take that job. They went to North Carolina, to Raleigh-Durham for a bit, and then to Florida. But the guy who got the job, or who took the job, and the person in management who interviewed him and other people he had met were gone. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my bosses for the cruise ship that I was working on in Holland, America. His wife worked in the same building, Anthony Fitzgerald, and she was a hot shot. She was like in the 80s. She was like the only woman who was competing with the rest of the traders or whatever. And she broke those glass ceilings, Jim. She was in the first terrorist attack in that first building years before that. And I remember I was in Hawaii with the Holland America people, and she came out to visit us because her husband was our boss, Ellis Productions. And I remember her telling us this story after the incident of the first one, where the bomb was underneath in the truck and all that. And she escaped that. But she always had an eerie feeling with the building. She said whenever you get to the building, like when there was high winds, the building would literally shift. I was like, oh my God, that's so spooky. So she survived that, but she didn't survive the second terrorist attack. Very odd, she was still there and right there. And Jeff Fitzgerald lost so many lives.
The first one was the bombing in the parking garage in '93, right?
'93, right.
And they did that in the bottom because they wanted the whole thing to tip over and then take out other buildings. But architecturally, the way that it went down in both buildings went straight down as opposed to tipping over. It was designed to do that, to go down in layers, so they didn't tip over and take out half of Lower Manhattan, though the residual, of course, the smoke and dust and everything did a lot of damage. But that's really amazing when you think about it. And there was a kid I grew up with 2 blocks over on Long Island who was just, I think, he just got this terrific job as vice president for the company he was working for, I think 2 weeks before, married with a 5-year-old daughter. He was in the North Tower, and I think he was on the 78th floor, and I believe that first plane came in around the 75th, just below. So there was no way, and I see his name was Michael Way, W-A-Y-E, and I always see that name pop up. It popped up on television today, when they do that memorial of listing all the names, right? I always see that name come up. But I remember him from childhood and elementary school and all, absolutely. But the buildings, they were designed to come down. They were also designed like a bridge to have a sway a little bit. They're designed. All those tall towers are designed to have a little bit. You have to have a little bit of a play, a little bit. It's not supposed to be like resistant to the wind. They move. That's why when you go on a bridge, sometimes you're sitting in traffic on a bridge and the bridge is going like this. That's not supposed to be good. It actually is, because the bridge has to have some play with the wind. But little architectural tidbit for our viewers out there.
That's interesting. Jim, Broadway has shut down. My industry has shut down completely since May or April.
Everything.
9/11 was the only time I want to get back to. I was in Castellet Miss, and we had a performance that night. But of course, it was the only time in Broadway. I think the only time in Broadway history where it shut down, and it only shut down for 2 days. We shut down September 11th and to September 13th, and the League of Theater, the theater group, suggested that the best thing to do is get back to work, because we need to lift everybody's spirits. Not to act like nothing's happened, but to be on Broadway during that time, I was among several hundred people, and to be involved in that with the cast, trying to navigate ourselves emotionally through that it was difficult for us to perform. And I missed of all shows, but we had to do what we had to do, and I was back at work 2 days later. I have since talked to some of the cast members. We have a Facebook group called Beyond the Barricade, but I've since talked to some of my fellow cast members from that, and they all have incredibly vivid stories about what that was like. And then like a week later, there was the anthrax scare. So you were afraid to go and work, you go into your dressing room, or, because there was anthrax in lockers, and, you just didn't know what to touch. You were afraid of everything. So that happened after the 9/11 attacks. So, but just to be there for that, to know that this gives me hope that if we can get beyond that and come back to work, I know this is a different kind of tragedy that's happening right now with this pandemic, because I read something about this. There's no exit. We don't have an exit.
Plus, it's global. It's global. There's no vaccine.
There's no exit plan right now.
And it affects all aspects of the body, not just the lungs. They've had blood clots in the brain, and I mean, it's so unknown and so widespread.
Yeah,
and not everybody's on the same page either, and that's a problem. So you have two different sides to that, and that makes things worse. So it's crazy. Yeah, so we're living through a really interesting time right now. So the key is everybody coming together and everybody, loving one another and supporting one another as best as we can. And you have another song that we have an accompaniment of a film that we are going to show as you're singing. Tell us about the film, and then tell us about the song as well, Bart.
Oh, well, the film is I don't want to say it's a patriotic film, but it's something I spliced together to commemorate. I did it at another performance for it was Veterans Day for the veterans, for the men and women who have served, or any gender who has served our country. And so this is a song called "Tell My Father," and it's from the first Broadway show that I did in 1999 at the St. James Theater. And it's more kind of geared to a Union soldier's perspective, but anyone who has lost their lives for this country and are fallen, whether they're soldiers or not, I wanted to commemorate and sing this song as a tribute to the 9/11 victims and their families, because they are fallen soldiers as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
So, before we do that, Jim, I know you do this every show because I've tuned in to many other shows, and I don't know if you got this, but I got my glass of oyster.
There you go.
Oyster Bay.
I just have ginger ale.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to you as well.
And thank you for having me on the show. I'd like to see you. Will you sing the song now?
Yeah, that would be great as we're on this theme, because then we can slide off to, your background and the career and all the rest. So since we're in the 9/11 mindset and patriotism, and it would be a good segue as well. Francis says, Jim and Bart, I am a part of a family of all first responders, which we were. I wish to take this time to thank you and the rest of Broadway for honoring us for months after 9/11 attacks. It was very much appreciated. Again, thank you, Bart, for trying to help get us back to living life. Sean says hi, Bart, and Mary says hi, Bart. Mary says hi, Jim. We welcome all of you. We welcome all of you to the show. Yes, wine cooler tonight. Cheers to you. Yes, he's got the wine cooler, and I have the ginger ale. That's it. All right, so you want me to start the film first? So you time it right, or is there any?
I'll start the song first at 10 seconds in. And
perfect.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Very smoothly so far, Jim.
Yeah, I tell you. And then after, we'll do the headphones, because there is that little echoey effect. So
you want to do the headphones for you?
Yeah. When we're chatting, we'll have the headphones on you, because we're getting that distant sound.
Yeah, well, we don't want that.
So we'll go back to that. But once again, my very special guest, Bart SHATTO, here on the Jim Master Show Live. And June just said she has coffee. She just chimed in. I got a cup of coffee.
Thank you, June.
She's going to be up late tonight.
That's going to be spiked with something, I'm sure.
Yes, that's right. All right, Bart, take it away.
that he saw didn't run or surrender, that I bore his name with pride as I tried to remember. You are judged by what you do while passing through. As I rest neath fields green, let him lean on your shoulders. Tell him how I spent my youth, so the truth could grow. Tell my father, oh, you can, I was there. Tell him we will be together, for the angels learn to fly. Tell him we will meet as men, for with honor did I die. Tell him how I wore blue, proud and true, like he taught me. Tell my father, so he'll know I loved him so. Tell him how I spent my youth, so the truth could grow. Tell my father not to cry, then say goodbye.
Beautifully done, beautifully done, beautifully
Thank you,
done.
sir.
And boy, did we not time the video with the audio.
It's almost like we had a rehearsal, for God's sake.
The video was coming from here, and the singing was coming from there, and
Can you believe it?
I
Wow.
tell you, the technical prowess that we have here at the Jim Masters Show, wearing all these different hats, I need like 9 more hands. I got to become an octopus. Now we don't hear you now. It's probably, yeah. So probably something changed there on your end after that came on. I know all the technical stuff that has to happen for everything to be perfect on all ends and all angles. It gets crazy sometimes. But if you're just joining us, I'm your host, Jim Masters. Welcome to the show. We're doing a special 9/11 tribute, but we're also welcoming our very special guest. BART, SHATTO. Still nothing, no. Don't you love the behind the scenes, everybody? This is all the stuff that in television and radio and stage and everywhere else that we don't like to show. But on the internet, it's the wild, wild west and anything happens. So we've all had to, all of us professionals have had to adjust to having our pants down sometimes. So, you know how you can tell when your audio is back up? If you look at your screen, Bart, and you see the little microphone icon, you see the cross? There you go.
Well, maybe that was the problem in the first place.
The mic was probably muted, right?
It was.
Yeah. Oh, well. Oh, well. They love that stuff, you know? They love when those things happen. That's the stuff people really want to see, you know? They want to see the mic drop. They want the behind the scenes.
They want to see Bart panic.
They want to see Bart panic, right? Willie goes, the button from Bart is out. Not here.
Can you hear me okay now?
We have no button for Bart.
Hear me okay?
Yeah.
That
sounds like a new play, doesn't it? Bart's button.
Jim, don't kid a kidder.
That's it, right? Absolutely.
You can hear okay now.
My Irish is coming out. Yeah, you're okay. We hear you.
Great.
We
Perfect.
see
Love
you.
it.
Everything
Thank
is
you
good.
So much. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, yeah.
See,
we always keep the train on the track here at the Jim Masters Show. I've been in more, you know, interesting situations on live television and radio. This is kids play here. This is minor stuff.
Absolutely. So
everything is always fixable if you're positive, right?
You know, I noticed that does work a lot.
Yeah, that's how I've been. I'm like you mentioned during 9/11 or what have you, being a rock during chaos. I've always been that way. I run towards the fire, not from it. When everybody else is panicking and screaming and crying and yelling and whatever's going on, I tend to be I'm extra calm. I'm already calm to begin with, but I'm extra calm to get us all through. Because if we're all chaotic, and I've been in cars where we've gotten lost, and the people in the car are panicking, and I'm like, you don't need to panic. You don't need to panic, because if you get me panicking, then all bets are off. So you want to make sure that I don't, because I'm the one that's getting us out of being lost. And I always say, hey, if you take enough right-hand turns and enough left-hand turns, you end up getting out of whatever it is. So it was funny. It was funny. But that's a beautiful song. Tell us about that song.
That is a song from, like I said, the show The Civil War that came out in 1990. That was my first Broadway show at the St. James Theater. Jerry Zaks directed it. And it comes in the first moments of the show, Jim. A young Union soldier, and a young Confederate soldier on opposite ends fighting. And they happen to be brothers. And the Confederate soldier gets shot and dies in his arms, and dies in his brother's arms, who's on the opposite side. And he sings that song. So the boy who's dying sings the song to his brother. You know, back in the Civil War, they used to put pieces of paper that they'd pin it on their backs, or they keep a piece of paper in their lapel, or a letter. So in case they perished, you know, that letter, they could be identified, number one, and also they could that letter could go back somehow through all the channels to their loved ones. And that song is really based on one of the letters of a soldier who knew his impending death. And it's a beautiful song. It's done in the first few moments of the play, of the musical. And most of the songs from Civil War are based on actual writings of whether it's Frederick Douglass or a Union or Confederate soldier. So yeah, I'm glad that I was able to share that with you.
Absolutely. And we have another, we have Broadway Corona show. Tell us about that. While you do that, I'm going to set it up here so our viewers can see it. But what is the Broadway Corona show list? Sounds cool.
So here's the deal. I've been really, really busy. I have been so busy for the past 6 months. I'm co-producing 2 projects. And when this virus hit, I thought to myself, how can I serve? What can I do to serve? Okay. And my wife and I did a show called Up Close and Personal with BART, SHATTO to raise money for a food scarcity program in Boston called Love and Spoonfuls. And I had my friend Rod come in and do all of the video audio stuff. And we broadcast it live with some pre-recorded things. And I created some content for the show. And this was when the pandemic hit, about a month or so into it. I have my own show called Back to Broadway. So I'm a big David Letterman fan. And so I created a top 10 list of what Broadway shows are going to look like after the pandemic subsides. What are Broadway shows? What's the list of Broadway shows, the roster of Broadway shows going to look like post-pandemic? And I came up with this list.
All right, this sounds. I actually watched it when we were getting everything together for the show, all the footage and all, just formatting and preparing and producing the show prior, and it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. So
good.
All right, here's that top 10 list via BART SHATTO right here on the Jim Masters Show. Enjoy, everybody. Get that.
Wait. Is this the Broadway top 10 list or
Broadway Corona?
Perfect. We're on.
Yep.
Let's do it.
You got it. And we're not talking beer when we talk Corona, though you can pop one open and watch with us with your beer if you'd like, folks.
I'll just, there you go.
All right.
After this whole debacle is over, and I hope it's over soon, as you guys know, the Broadway world is shut down. A lot of my friends are out of work, and the Broadway shows have all closed. I was thinking that after this global pandemic, that there's going to be a new crop of Broadway shows that's going to be inspired by this horrible situation. That's why we're trying to have a lot of creativity during this time. And so I've got a list here. This just came from the Associated Press of some of the new Broadway shows that are going to appear after all this is over. I think probably in May or June, let's hope. So somebody just sent this to me. This is my Broadway Corona show list. Okay. Number one, there's a musical called Fun Home that was out several years ago that won a bunch of Tonys. Well, this particular musical post-coronavirus is called No Fun at Home. Wow. Yeah. And you guys all know the music. There's a musical called How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. Well, after the virus, that's all going to change because this new musical is going to come out and it's called How to Succeed in Business Without a Stimulus Package. Wow. There's an incredible show called Come From Away that's been running for several years now. It's hugely inspiring. Well, in May, get ready. Because this new musical is called Come From Wuhan. Whew, yeah. Ain't Too Proud is a musical based on the life of Tina and Ike Turner. Well, this one's called Ain't Too Infected. I don't know if they know that. To Kill a Mockingbird, which is still running, the play. Well, you know what? After that closed, this new play is going to come up. It's called To Kill a Virus. It looks like they're doing a musicalized version of Home Alone. You know Macaulay Culkin, Home Alone? That thing? Well, this one's called I Wish I Was Home Alone. Harry Potter is a huge hit on Broadway, the play, right? Well, after this pandemic is over, they're going back to the beginnings of Harry Potter. This one's called Harry Potter and the Sorcerer Gets Stoned at Home. Wow, that's going to be a good one. I can't wait. I got hot just thinking about that one. Woo! There's a musical called Once. You guys remember that musical? Once? Well, this whole quarantine thing has made like neurotic OCD people out of us, all of us, right? Well, instead of once, this one's called Three Times. You do everything 3 times. See, 3 times. Scratch my face 3 times. Touch my face 3 times. The women are going to love this one. Oh, yeah, because this one's called Roots, the musical. Instead of Jersey Boys, this one's called Jersey. Oh, my nails! Oh, God, there's more. Can you believe there's more? The wonderful, incredible Stephen Sondheim musical called Company. Well, after the virus is over and we are free of this one's going to be called No Company Allowed. All right. And number 12, Les Miserables, one of my favorite musicals because I was in it. You know, Les Miserables, it's French for the miserables. The miserables. Enough said. We are the miserables. Anyway, that's my Corona Broadway new show list. I can't wait for them to come out. Pretty amazing.
That's funny. So what was the response to that? People must have been like, wow.
We raised $5,000 for Love and Spoonfuls, a food scarcity program. And I think they threw money at me to stop me with my bad jokes. They're like, stop the bad jokes. Here's some money. But I had a good time. I always do a top 10 list of my show. And I thought it was fun to do. It's, you know, they're all groaners, but it makes people smile. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. No laugh track needed or any of that, right? Or drum roll, or you didn't need Paul Schaefer to do a drum roll or anything, right?
No. I don't confess to be a stand-up comedian, even though I'm a frustrated stand-up comedian. But yeah, that gives me a stand-up comedian moment in my show, and writing a little bit of material. But it's fun. It's fun, and we raised money, and it was for a good cause. So, yeah.
And tonight you're a sit-down, frustrated stand-up comedian.
Exactly.
We have another clip. Now, this is back-to-back Broadway. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, this is a show that I created. It's called Back-to-Back. My first show I created was called Back to Broadway, Heroes, Villains, and Dreamers. And then I thought, well, what would happen if I created another show with a gorgeous blonde who belts her face off from Broadway? And so I was like, okay, well, how about Back-to-Back Broadway with BART? And I chose my friend Carla Stickler. She's a wicked girl. She's played Elphaba. And so we have a show called Back-to-Back Broadway, SHATTO and Stickler. And I also have two other beautiful women that I work with that it kind of interchanges. If Carla can't do it, then somebody else will step in. So I got Elena SHATTO, who I did Les Mis with, and she was in the original Bridges of Madison County. Her name is Elena SHATTO, SHADDOW. So it's Back-to-Back Broadway, SHATTO and SHATTO.
Does she do her version in silhouette?
Me and my SHATTO. And also I work with another girl. Her name is Charlotte Maltby. She was the well-known composer Richard Maltby's daughter. And so we have a SHATTO in Maltby. So whenever we get back to real life, hopefully we'll have some bookings. But we do a lot of comedy stuff, and a lot of skits and a lot of duets, and it's just a fun show. So I have Back to Broadway, which is just me, and then Back-to-Back Broadway, which is with the gorgeous divas.
So basically you work for the BBB.
The BBB, the triple B.
Rated A+ by the BBB.
Yeah, I like the alliteration. I'm all about alliterations. But I've done the show, Jim, in like 7 different states. I've performed it all over, and it morphs every time. And I've done temples, and I've done bar mitzvahs, and I've performed in so many different venues with the show, and it's kind of taken a life of its own.
You've done it in 7 different states, really?
7 different states.
Wow.
And
confusion, drunk, annoyed. What's the other states? Several different. He didn't say. You notice he didn't say what the state was.
Yeah.
Or
Asleep.
are.
I've done it. I've done the show Asleep. That was fantastic.
He was
very
he was in 7 different states.
it was very Perry Como-ish when I was asleep. And so, yeah, I mean, and the show just has taken a life of its own. There's a lot of comedy to it. And also there's like this stupid human tricks where I'll sing like the hardest songs any male Broadway singer will ever sing.
Yeah.
Like, no one would do what I do. They're not crazy enough like I am. So I'll do, Valjean's soliloquy and then go into Bring Him Home and then do the trial and then go into This Is the Moment with Jekyll and Hyde and Confrontation back to back without a break. And then I pass out.
And then you pass out.
And so I think people just come to see whether blood is going to squirt from my vocal cords, because it might be a really cool sight. So they're just like waiting for me to either pass out or blood to start spurting from an orifice. It's worth the ticket,
that's a word
Jim.
that you do not want to foul up on the air, orifice. You never want to make a on-air
I bet no one has
orifice.
ever used that word on your show, Jim.
Not on air live, possibly behind the scenes, yes.
Yeah, so, and I wanted to say to you, Jim, you are a fantastic interviewer. I've seen a lot of your shows, and I know your tagline is love and levity, or love and levity, or is it levity and...
Levity, yeah. Levity is in the air and on the air. On
Levity.
the Jim Masters show.
All right.
Levity.
And I think you should change it to lots of levity, but no brevity. Your shows are like 5 hours long, Jim.
I know, it's amazing.
I mean, there was a guy from the Christmas Story. It's like, what does that guy have to say for 5 hours that I'm going to be interested in? I mean, you must get sick.
And you watched it, didn't you?
Well, maybe a little bit. I did, yeah.
I just can't get the guests to shut the hell up.
I mean, if I were you, they're cloning goats and sheep and stuff like that. Why don't they clone Jim Masters? So you can have 2 or 3 clones that actually, Jim number 2 comes on and does Tuesday through Thursday.
Oh, we have that already. It's Jimmy. Jimmy's going to fill in. If I'm ever out or I just want to take a break, Jimmy's the fill-in.
He's a silent partner, yeah, right.
Right? Yeah, Jimmy, he's been with me since childhood, so he's very loyal. He will be the fill-in. He will fill in.
Well,
right?
You need another clone.
Can you carry it for 2 hours, 3 hours? You know what it is? I'm used to doing radio shows where I've been on for 5 hours live straight, uninterrupted, other than top of the hour news and a couple of commercial breaks. And then on television shows and stuff where I was on. And also, I've done a lot of telethons where we were on for 10 hours straight. So for me to actually be on and talk with a guest, for as long as they want to chat, I'm not one that like rushes them on and rushes them off, because there's a million other shows and sound bites and stuff that really, they come and they tell you about the book that they have or the movie they're in or what their hobby is. And it's the same old everywhere you look. So this is a little bit more of like, people say bringing back the art of conversation. And then when the show wraps, I've learned a lot more about the person, even though it might be somebody I know personally. Yeah. And then the audience says, wow, I never knew that about the person. And then what really is cool, their own friends and colleagues say, wow, I never knew that about you, Steve or Betty or whoever it is. Yeah. But that all came out in the conversation because they felt so comfortable and so at ease being, I guess, in this setting, because there's no airs about it. We're just here and let's have a good conversation. We'll have entertainment or whatever's going on with it as well. So, but sometimes it could go long. Originally, this show was supposed to only be an hour, but you figure with photos, with conversation.
Well, gotta go. I'll see ya.
Right, exactly.
It's been an hour.
That's it. We can't show Bart's baby pictures.
Sorry.
even though Bart sent us all his baby pictures, we won't have time to show them.
I sent Jim 30 years of my career in video and pictures because I want to make sure we had everything covered.
And Scott, who was on for 6 hours, only sent me 4.
What are you saying, Jim?
So
Jim, just spill it. Spill it. Are you saying that I haven't practiced the art of conversation, or
no? I'm warning the viewers.
I want to make it interesting.
I'm warning the viewers they might need to put an extra pot of coffee on about now.
No, we can get this done. We can. Everybody knowing very little about me. That's my whole goal. So that's perfect. Love it.
And so by the time we're done, they will think that they are cousins of yours.
You know what? They probably are. That's the.
But generally,
problem.
yeah, this show originally, when I started the show, we didn't do guests. It was me talking to the audience as the host of the show, talking with the viewers. I was doing all kinds of different things, and just chatting about my day. We were going on location, doing a whole bunch of cool stuff, and then a couple of people that I knew that I've worked with or interviewed in my professional life, I said, you know what, would you like to pop on the show? They popped on, and then other people wanted to come on, and then friends of mine said, oh, my so-and-so would like to come on. And now we're booked until second week in November, every single night with guests.
Wow.
So it turned into sort of that, though it's very interesting because the viewers often say, hey, Jim, can you do like a pop-up show where it's just me with them? Because they like that relationship. So I'm very big about the viewer relationship with the host. So there'll be sometimes when I have time, because I balance this show with my professional job, or jobs in television and radio, where we'll do a pop-up show and we'll just chat. And I'll say, okay, I'm going to pop up. I'm on for 10 minutes. We go an hour and a half talking about everything you could think, food, whatever it is. We just roll. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. So I think we're about wrapped. Thanks for joining us, Bart. That was a pleasure.
Great. Thanks for showing all my videos and
I'm going to put my feet up and have some more ginger ale.
It's a beautiful timeline. It went from like May to June of my life. And that's
unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. It covered. It was a massive scope of.
It was so fast that you don't even remember talking about half the stuff.
No, I don't remember doing it either.
I don't remember doing it.
I was asleep during most of the show. So
it's the wine cooler you got that's kicking in. Let's see. Francis says, that's what makes Jim's show special above all the rest. Way to go, Jim. Love, Francis. Thank you very much. With all your pictures and videos, Bart, tough today for many of us because of 9/11. Yeah, 9/11. Jennifer says, no coffee, whiskey, which is what she's having.
Yeah, Jennifer.
She's having the whiskey. Bart just told on himself. He must have tuned into the marathon show with Scott. Bart is entertaining. That's funny. Willie, Jim is so good. I listen with fun. She's amazing because it's like, is it 2 a.m. there? 2:24 a.m. in Holland. Wow. And she's here every night.
I've seen her on it before. Yeah.
Christopher says you could portray Robin Williams. Have you heard that before?
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard Kevin Kline. I've heard Treat Williams. I've heard so many people. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's right. Before Jen asks you, because Jen, who's Zen, she always asks everybody, mountains or the ocean? What is your go-to place, the mountains or the ocean? Me, it's the ocean because I grew up on the coast. What is it for you?
Oh, definitely ocean. We just got back from the ocean. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Is that why you look soaking wet?
Am I spitzing, Jim?
There was time. You could have toweled off. We had time. During the video, we could have done it. No, that's funny. Sean says, stay safe, Bart. Sean is watching on YouTube.
Thanks, Sean. Hey, great to see you.
Absolutely.
She's a big TSO fan.
Yes. And people might not realize your involvement with Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Tell us about that, because with my involvement with public television for many years, and still, they aired that and still air that multiple times. And when they offer the tickets, which of course this year is not happening, but whenever they've offered the tickets to the Christmas show, they're gone in like 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah. And it wasn't like that when I started, Jim. I can tell you that much. In 2002. So I went from 2002 to 2016.
So did you work with Bob Kinkle and Dina?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Dina cast me. Dina hired me.
Did she?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was, so they're great people. I love them to death. I feel part of the TSO family. I don't know if I'm going to continue because I just want to continue with my Broadway career, and it really does take some time out of the winter of auditions and things like that. So I don't know if they really have a place for me anymore, since they're not really using the Old City Bar and Dream Child unless they bring it back. I did see everybody in Newark. I went to go see the East. There's people don't realize TSO is 2 bands. It's an East Coast band and a West Coast band. Shh, don't tell anybody. They like to keep it a secret. Like, they're covering all of this ground in a period of 6 weeks, but it is 2 bands.
You heard it here first.
I'm usually with the West Coast band. And when I started out, I told the story. I've done 4 interviews over the past 3 months. Don't ask me why, Jim. I don't have anything to plug. I'm not a famous guy, but I've done 2 podcasts. I've done this show. I've done a radio show, television, local television show in Pennsylvania. But
Why?
I did tell this recently. This story. I'll tell you later. I told this story about how I almost lost my job. I almost got fired, but because, they wanted to hire me for this song called Old City Bar. I'm not going to make the story very long. And I went in with several songs that they had me prepare, and they had already did all the demos, and the album was out. It was called Christmas Eve and Other Stories. And there was a song that they wanted me to prepare, which is Old City Bar. I prepared another song called This Christmas Day that they sing as well, but this was the song that they wanted me to sing. So I go into the studio. It was unlike any audition I've ever had before. And Paul O'Neill, who has since passed, my dear friend who created Trans-Siberian Orchestra, my dear friend, mentor, boss, colleague, the room was completely dark, except there was a spotlight. It was in a recording studio, with a music stand and a mic. And I couldn't see anybody. It was completely dark. And Paul O'Neill is a very eccentric kind of guy. I mean, he's the kind of guy, which makes sense. People will eat the same food every day. He was the kind of person that wore the same clothes every day. Now, I'm not talking about he didn't wash them. He wore a white button-down shirt, long sleeve, leather motorcycle jacket, motorcycle pants, and motorcycle boots, and sunglasses, and his black hair down to here. So he was very Tim Burton-esque. Mm-hmm. And he wore the same things, the same outfit every day. And so all I could see were these glasses being reflected in the glasses when I looked out in the studio as I was doing this song. So I performed this song, Old City Bar. It's a really interesting song. It's about 8 minutes long. It is really literally 8 minutes long. And it's very akin to Jim Croce's song, Time in a Bottle, okay? And it's about an angel that comes down to earth, and there's this little boy, and it's a bartender, and it's just about restoring hope. And it's just a great story song, okay? So when we started rehearsals in Connecticut, we were rehearsing in Connecticut at the time. Now it's an undisclosed location because I don't want anybody to know where they're rehearsing. It's a secret. So I got up and I sang the song, and Paul kind of looked at his assistant, and they're like, "This just isn't right." And as an actor, you start panicking because you're like, "Oh my God, I lost my job. I think they're going to fire me." And so they were about ready, I think, to fire. So I went back to the dressing room. A couple of guys were saying, "Yeah, you might want to change this up somehow." And I'm like, "What? What am I going to do?" And so I had a little bit of a break, and Paul came up to me and he said, "What if we put you in a coat, like an overcoat?" I said, "Okay, all right." So that kind of got my wheels spinning. It's called self-preservation. And I decided to create this character who's kind of like an old jazz musician who's kind of down on his luck and on the streets begging for money, but he plays saxophone brilliantly. And, with the back, the cap back in, backwards, and, the big overcoat and the gloves with it all cut off from the fingers. And so I went to the Salvation Army. I found a Salvation Army nearby, and I bought this whole costume. I got this whole costume. I created this whole character. And this character morphed into who we named, a couple guys helped me with character, Gerald McNally. And he went from a bebop jazz guy in the 1950s who now is down on his luck, and he's this old guy with a goatee, gray goatee, and he went from that guy to this homeless guy named Gerald, who actually digs through garbage cans before the show, never asks for money, he never panhandles. And so this morphed into that character, and so I started to do a pre-show in these big stadiums in which I would go out about an hour before the show in character. And you have the video, so you'll get a chance of you'll get a sense of what this character looks like and what he sounds like. Totally be in character, go out into the venue and literally dig through garbage cans. Go into the venue, also like into the stadium, and sit down in people's seats and get kicked out by security. I got kicked out of and the security would not know who I was. They thought I was a homeless guy. And the people, it was kind of a really great lesson, which the Old City Bar really does tell, which is, it's not that I was trying to teach people a lesson, but people saw this homeless guy in the stadium and they were like, people responded in different ways. And some weren't so favorable. Some went to security guards and asked for me to be removed. And then some were disgusted by me, and some wanted to give me food that they bought at the stand, a hot dog, and some wanted to give me money. And I thought it was the greatest human experiment that I accidentally did to save my frickin' job. And that's what I did for many years with Trans-Siberian Orchestra. It became kind of a fan favorite, and we named the guy Gerald McNally. And so I performed the song, and then I would do the pre-show, come out 45 minutes later, do the song, come out on stage, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, that guy's in the show. He's a character in the show." Wait, but he was just here digging through garbage cans. And then a half hour later, I come out with me looking like me in a tuxedo. And they were like, "What?" So it was the biggest mind F that you could ever think of. People's minds were blown because they were like, "Wait, I think I've just been punked."
So funny.
It's literally a story about saving your job and using creativity to self-preserve. And it was, you know what, Jim, it's become the greatest job that I ever had in my entire career. Financially, I've created, we have legions of fans, and I'm still part of the TSO family. I went to visit everybody in Newark, and I went to visit the East Coast. I was in Germany with them. We celebrated New Year's Eve, and we performed at the Brandenburg Gate to 1 million people. And so I've had such an incredible career with those guys. And by the way, I want to brag. We're getting a major renovation in our house, in our condo. And for the first time, our workers came in and they mounted all of my gold and my platinum records. So I know you've seen one before, Jim, so this is probably not a big deal. But they would send these to me in these big boxes. And this says, presented to BART SHATTO to commemorate RIAA certified gold sales of no more than 500,000 copies, Lava Atlantic Records, Beethoven's Last Night. Okay, and then we got one here. We got one here. This one, yeah, and that's for that's for Lost Christmas Eve. And then there's one over here. And that's for Lost Christmas Eve too, gold and platinum. And this one's for Night Castle, and this one is for the Christmas Attic. Now, I have one thing to say. I'm not on any of these albums.
How did that happen? Did you order them off eBay?
Can you believe it, Jim? They would send it to me. I'm part of the TSO family. Everyone would get a gold and platinum record. I was actually on Night Castle. I did sing some chorus stuff in that. But as far as solo stuff, nope. I wasn't even on the album. So, But it's nice to brag about my gold and platinum records.
It's just a shame you took down all the beautiful family photos of your grandparents and everything else and put them in the basement to put the records up. Oh boy.
Well, I actually did it for the show, and the grandma's
Just for the
going
show.
back up.
All those nails in the wall just for the show.
Grandma's going back up.
Grandma's going back up. That's funny.
Yeah,
we have this clip of Chateau and Stickler that you had sent. Tell us about that. That's a cool one.
Yeah, so that's the show I was talking about, the back-to-back Broadway. And so we put a little demo together to sell the show. And this gives you an idea of the kind of rapport that Carla Stickler and I have. And it's kind of a brother-sister rapport.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of fun. And so this is our show called Back-to-Back Broadway, Chateau and Stickler.
Francis likes the colors on your walls, too. The color of the walls going upstairs. What is it?
We just,
teal green or something?
We just got it painted. So we did
What's the color?
You know what? We just did a huge
It's
renovation.
like a blue-greenish sort of...
yeah, it's got a
color.
teal thing.
Teal, right.
It's got a teal thing to it.
Yeah.
And this wall here, I bet nobody shows their house to you, but I want to brag because... And this show...
We usually get to see their laundry rooms. What does yours look like?
This wall here is got little sparklies. I don't know if you noticed that. It's beautiful.
I can see them. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. It's really cool. It's
like
the
a
only
metallic.
Yeah, it's the only little sparkly wall. See, my wife is a big animal she's an animal lover. And so I call this the jungle room. We got the zebra here, and we got the zebra. We got our art piece here, the zebra table. So and so everything's kind of has an animal theme to it, of the animals that we've seen in Africa and India and all that. So it's crazy. It's like a jungle in here.
You could say that, huh? And who has to do the cleaning?
I do.
You do the cleaning.
You know
right.
what? When a mother says to a mother says to her daughter, you should marry a doctor. You got to marry a doctor. Well, it can go the same with a guy too, because I married a doctor. So that was the best choice I ever made.
So her mother said you got to clean the house? Because you married the doctor.
she's like, thank God that you have Amy, like that we got rid of her, because now she's yours. So that's my mother-in-law. She's my Jewish mother-in-law. I love her so much.
Willie said she noticed a monkey in there.
Monkey?
Is there a monkey somewhere around there? She goes, the monkey is also there. I know we saw the zebra table.
We have it. Well, you got to see our bedroom. It's amazing. There's no monkey. Well, that's a cheetah. That's a cheetah.
That's what I thought. Right.
That's a cheetah.
Not sure where she sees the monkey. Merlin loves the zebra table.
Yeah, the zebra table is pretty amazing. I'll just go down here. Yeah, it's really an art piece. It really is. I mean, the thing comes out here, and our wedding book is up on top. This is our wedding book, and it's our wedding book. So we have that. We're kind of Amy likes modern, and I'm really liking modern a lot too. It's very minimalist, and because we had our designer who decided to put our chair here as well. So sometimes I'll sit on that chair. But we also have an animal here, which is an elephant. And we're still working on this bookcase here to make it a little bit more. And that zebra photo just came up. And our bedroom has a wolf in it, as well as a jaguar, cheetah, another cheetah.
So who's the wolf and who's the cheetah?
It's a Serengeti in my bedroom, I'm telling you.
I was going to say, my bedroom has a wolf and a cheetah. Okay.
It's the hunter and the hunted.
Somewhere there's
in my bedroom.
Yeah, there's a script in there somewhere. My bedroom has a wolf and a cheetah, and sometimes that gets reversed. What do you do, role playing in that room? Right. Tarzan. That is
my God.
funny.
That's great.
You gotta laugh, right? You gotta laugh. Well, I don't think we introed the Back to Broadway 10 minutes ago. I don't think we even showed it yet.
I didn't think you guys would be so interested. It is a beautiful house, and it's a gorgeous
it's
a
cool.
condo.
Yeah, this is
nice
like
skyline,
what was the name of the show on CBS that I should know it being in television? I think it's You Are There. No, it wasn't You Are There. The one where Edward R. Murrow would sit back in his chair with his cigarette, and when he did the interview of Jerry Lewis or whoever it was, they were in their house with the kids and the family, and then they would take them around the house, and it was Edward R. Murrow's show on CBS.
That's so cool.
Not You Are There, but it was something like that where, he would interview people. He'd be seated in his chair with the cigar, big, huge screen, and on the screen would be the actor, actress, whoever it is, and you'd get to see actually Lucy and Desi were on it as well, Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz. Yeah. And they're sitting on the couch, and then they sort of take people around the house. This is reminding me a little of that, a little behind the scenes of the behind the scenes.
This is my favorite chair. Look at this, Jim. This is the bubble chair, literally. Watch. Look at this. Look at this. See?
Oh yeah.
It's literally a plastic or.
So when they send us to Mars, is that what you're going to go in?
And and the television's right there mounted, but is actually one of my favorite chairs. So that's kind of what it looks like. It's a hanging chair. It's suspended.
In Florida, they have hanging chairs and at Chad's, and in Bart's house, it's hanging chairs, right?
That's my wife for you. I was like, well, you want a suspended chair? You want it's like a hammock, or you want to suspend it from this high ceiling? And she's like, no, so it came in, and I put it together, and I'm like, this is really cool. So,
absolutely.
And so we're waiting for our furniture to come for our living room, and it's been months from a place called Lugano's in New Jersey. And so we got the treadmill over here for my dog, and then I just set up my own studio until we get our furniture. So
somebody else I had as a guest on the show is watching, Ellis Gage. Says SHATTO 2020, please. Yeah. 2020, please. The chair reminds me of the Jetsons, Sean said. Francis says the same thing, the Jetsons.
Yeah, it's cool.
Cool, very modern-esque. All right, let's take a look at the back-to-back Broadway, because we have that clip all queued up, ready to go. Cool. You can vacuum the rugs while we do it, in case you missed anything else.
I may bring you to the jungle room, the bedroom, if it's okay with Amy. So guests, stay tuned. Don't leave, because we're going to surprise my wife. She might be sleeping, so we're going to surprise her, okay?
Is there a sign over the room that says you're entering the jungle room? Enter at your own risk? Enter at your own risk.
Believe me, if I open that door, the claws will come out. You have no idea, Jim.
And is there an admission cost or to go in? Do they sell tickets or?
It's enter at your own risk.
That's right. That's it. All right. With that, man. What a way to intro back to back Broadway.
So the show is, I don't know, what do you think it is, Carla?
It's all about BART.
Yeah.
And I'm just there because I'm cute.
Back-to-back Broadway, SHATTO and Stickler.
SHATTO and Stickler.
I can riff too.
That was nice.
Yeah, I can kind of riff. Yeah.
SHATTO.
So I'm most well known for playing Valjean in Les Mis.
If I die, let me die.
And Carla is most well known for playing Elphaba in Wicked. It's like a version of Mr. Toad's Wild Musical Theater Ride, but without a budget.
2 Broadway veterans for the price of 1 ticket.
Think Laugh-In, Hee Haw, Lawrence Welk Show, Donnie Marie, Sonny and Cher in a Cuisinart and mix it up. And that's our show.
Cuisinart. Food processor.
Qui.
Suddenly Seymour is standing
find you.
Les Mis, Jekyll and Hyde, Phantom of the Opera.
This is the moment. Dim are the odds.
Popular. You're gonna be popular. Wicked. Funny girl. Get ready for me, love, cause I'm a comer. I've simply gotta march, my heart's a drummer. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade. Can I sing something from Fiddler?
Absolutely.
Ooh. I might actually be singing Bring It Home.
Bring It Home?
Yeah. Bring It Home, Bring Him Home. That would be exciting.
I think it'd be cool if we switched
a little
roles.
mashup.
And I'll probably sing The Wizard.
What's the name of the show again?
Back to Back Broadway.
Broadway, back to back.
Back to Back Broadway.
Back to back
Shatto
Broadway.
and Stickler.
Shatto and Stickler. Shatto and Stickler.
Ooh.
Ah!
You guys play off each other beautifully.
She's great. I enjoy working with her a lot. Yeah.
Was that the first time you guys were brought together, or have you done that several times before?
We did a concert together in Florida, which was a huge nightmare disaster, and we just became under duress. We became really close because it was such a horrible experience. And I was just like, "Hey, listen, I'm putting the show together. Would you like to?" She said, "Sure." Didn't have to finish the sentence.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's great for Carla because she doesn't get a chance to do, show her comic chops that much, and
right.
We do an Elaine. I'm fascinated with Elaine May and the duet, the Nichols and May.
Yes.
And we did we do a skit from them. We do famous duos like Donnie and Marie with all the wigs, and Sonny and Cher, and
a little bit of country, a little bit rock and roll.
A little bit rock and roll, yeah. So, and we do Edith Bunker and Archie. It's so much fun. So we just do all this,
Who does Edith? Who does Archie?
Well, I do Archie. Boy, the way the Glenn Miller played. But then when we do Lucy and Desi, I actually do Lucy. Makes sense.
Let's hear
right?
a little of that. Yeah. Can you do a little?
No, I wasn't very good at it. I wasn't able to get but I looked like I had the wig and.
You mean you can't do like she does? Like something. Bart. Bart.
Yes,
Stifle.
sir.
Stifle.
Oh, stifle it, Edith. So I did get permission to come into the jungle room, but my wife is in bed, but she's going to get under the cover. So do you guys want to go to the jungle room?
God will get you for that, Walter. Maud.
Do we have anybody still on? Has everybody fled?
Oh, they're all here. They're all
airwaves?
here. But Willie in Holland is very concerned when you mentioned bedroom action or going to the bedroom. She goes, "No, don't do that." She thinks you're going to have repercussions that you'll have to live with for the rest of your life.
I've already called my wife on the phone. I said, people love our house and they want to see more animal pictures.
She's up in the bedroom now?
She's up in the bedroom with my dog, Maverick. Yeah.
And right now the dog's like...
He wants to be...
She's training him quick. The minute you open the door...
Watch what happens. So we're going to go up there to our jungle room. And
Ernestine in North Carolina says, I'm still here. Yep, they're here.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for sticking around, guys. I hope you're having fun. I'm having a blast with you guys and showing you my house. And then I'm going to also show you my view of the Hackensack Inlet, which is gorgeous. And so, like I said,
and you also have the view on the other side of the back of the Stop and Shop, right?
Yeah, where the dumpster is, yeah.
Where the dumpster is.
We pick up all
now,
the
are you going to
food.
provide any sort of musical interlude while you're going up the stairs?
Okay, I'm just going to put the camera like this, so we have
maybe you raise me up or something.
You raise me up
as you go up the stairs.
Maybe Jim, I should knock first.
You know what I would say? Like Tony Orlando said, knock 3 times. And
knock 3 times.
Oh,
there's my dog.
You know what should be playing right now, Bart? The song Danger Zone.
Okay. Oh, we're going to turn on the light here. Our listening and viewing audience. Here we go. Amy, hi.
I am not.
My wife's not happy about this. So what we got here is we have, do you guys see this giraffe picture? That's kind of in a...
We see the giraffe and we see the knife lunging towards you.
So there's a giraffe. And then we have a, Amy, is that a cougar or that's a tiger, right? Huh? Oh, it's a cheetah, right? That's a cheetah. You guys see that up above the bed?
Willie's still looking for a monkey.
No monkey. That's the Serengeti, or the savannah, I should say. And so there's the cheetah. We have the giraffe. Sorry. Oh, sorry. I stepped on her foot.
Is that what that was?
Sorry. She's not happy about that. And then we got the elephant.
She does
right
great. She does great voiceover sound effects.
I heard that crunch. Did you hear that? So that's our elephant, and and then this is one of those beds that kind of elevates and goes up. That's my dog Maverick. Yeah, and there he is. This is Maverick here. Yeah, and he doesn't photograph very well, but he's a German Shepherd. So, and that's our bedroom with the photos. Thanks, Amy. And also, as you can see, the decor here is zebra as well above my head.
Your wife's name is Amy?
Amy, yeah.
Amy, we thank you very much for your patience and tolerance.
Jim Master says hello, and we thank you for your patience and your tolerance. Show them the what? Where's the seagull? Oh, in your bathroom? Oh, okay.
Ernestine says you and I we're funny and we make a good team.
You and I, Jim?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Oh, well, I love you. I think I love you and I love your show, and I'm so happy to be on here. So I'm so excited. So my wife's a big Neil Diamond fan and a Jonathan Livingston Seagull fan, and so she came down the aisle to Jonathan Livingston Seagull, and so we got a seagull in the bathroom. We just actually renovated this bathroom as well, and I call it the West End sauna. It's like a it just looks like a sauna, or it's just very Asian, I should say. That's our bathroom. We just got it done. I'm not going to tell you how much it costs because it's ridiculous, and then this mirror behind me as well.
What's really amazing about this, Bart, is you're getting this all done before midnight when the real owners come in and take possession of their property. You got to be out by midnight, right? The rental is till midnight?
Yeah, I mean, I suffer from the imposter syndrome. This is my wife, Amy, and they seem to be liking the house.
Now, is that a happy face on Amy, or is that, Bart, I'm going to kill you after this?
She's not very happy right now, but I do crazy stuff.
She looks terrific. I like that. See that hair flip she did? She's right on cue.
She's camera ready.
She's camera ready, yes.
She doesn't have her face on, but she doesn't need any makeup because she's gorgeous. So, I mean, but I was telling the listening audience about how much you love animals, and that we've been to India and the Serengeti, and we've been to, she's been to Africa. What
5 countries.
5 countries.
The Galapagos Islands.
Galapagos Islands, because we love animals, or I sort of co-opted loving animals like she has.
We still eat animals.
Someone just said hi, Amy.
Hi.
So
did you show them the really cool light in the other room?
Yeah, it's the octopus light. Yeah, so that's it. And then this is our office.
Now, is Amy in the industry as well? Oh,
Amy's
she's a doctor. That's right.
She's a psychologist. Yes, she works for a company called Gore that's based out of Al Gore, W.L. Gore, that's based out of Delaware.
So what does she charge per hour for the therapy?
She's not that kind of psychologist. She's more of like she's an industrial organizational psychologist.
You notice how she started talking when you left the room and not when you were in it?
Okay, back to Amy. Amy is what again?
Welcome back.
Amy is an industrial organizational psychologist.
So,
statistician.
She's a statistician.
Define that for the audience. The industrial organizational
Define
psychologist.
that for the
What
audience
that-
if we can't hear.
I've
Yeah.
interviewed a lot of
It's a
psychologists in my
cross
professional work.
It's a cross between business and social psychology. And in the workplace, I do coaching and education of executives and training and development. That is like way too close for my face. Yeah, and you can come onto my LinkedIn and learn about leadership development. That's my specialty. Leadership development and coaching.
Which is great. I've interviewed actually in my professional work a lot of leadership development people, psychologists,
interviewed a lot of-
coaches. Yeah, a lot of people who it's great work because leaders people are really understanding the importance of leadership, especially in the business climate and the business world. And right now, what is something happened? Did you get something stuck in her hair?
No, she's listening because she can't hear you, but he's worked with a lot of psychologists.
Oh, okay. So you have the phone up close to her.
Yeah.
I'm trying to listen.
So I've interviewed a lot of people that do that kind of work. It's great work, isn't it? It's really
It is.
fulfilling. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So a typical client for you would be, or is there no typical client?
Well, right now I work for W.L. Gore and Associates, so all of our leaders and our executives in the company are my clients.
Right, exactly. So do you work one-on-one or is it in a team atmosphere with people?
So my team works with all the different leaders. So we put together training. I do work one-on-one, doing coaching and that sort of thing. But most of what I do is put together interventions for leaders in the organization.
So interventions so when there's a situation happening or things are not going well or what have you, you'll come in and try to figure it out? Yeah.
It can be, but right now we're really building up. So we're trying to put together things for leaders to have give them better capabilities to work with their people on their teams.
The staff and the various levels of staff, absolutely. Because the role of top level people has changed. It used to be the boss, the person in the upper ivory tower who just didn't really interact with the rest of the staff. But now they're realizing the importance of being a leader is one that rolls up the sleeves and listens to all different ideas and suggestions and lets the rest of the staff feel important and like they're part of the success of the entity as well. And then you'll get happier staff, happier employees, and more productivity, right?
So W.L. Gore and Associates is a extremely special place. We have a history of 61 years of leading the way for leadership development, which is what really attracted me to come and be a part of it. But we've been using the concept of small teams, the power of small teams, and you become a leader because you have followership, not because you have a title.
Right, exactly.
And Bill Gore. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I've heard different answers to this question, but do you think people are born leaders or they can be trained and become leaders?
Well, I wouldn't be in the field of leadership development if I didn't believe that you can absolutely be trained to be a better leader, to have capabilities. I do believe that having the charisma and having certain qualities, there are some people that have a natural propensity, but by the same token, you can take somebody who wants to be a good leader and they can become a good leader by developing.
Right.
It takes someone like BART, he was born naturally with the gift of being able to sing. So when he trains, he becomes exceptionally good, and he has a propensity for it. Take the same thing in leadership development. Somebody might be born with a certain gift, so they can be exceptionally good at it. But somebody who tries really hard, if they spend 10,000 hours developing it, they're going to be pretty good.
Right, exactly. Like people have described me in my work as sort of an understated, quiet leader. As opposed to like knocking down the door and coming in, all right, rah, 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 let's go, come on, all right. I'm much more of an understated leader, but have the ability to be able to bring everybody to the table, bring everybody together where we might not get everything we want, but at least we get some of what we want and people feel like it's much more of a collaborative effort and working under pressure, working under some of the most chaotic situations, being steady and being resilient and looking for the positive aspects of things and bringing that out of people and creating an environment where they feel comfortable and safe and appreciated is what I've been hearing a lot of as well, sort of like an understated, quiet leader versus a much more, all right, let's go, come on, shape up type of leader.
So you've just described what a leader at Gore is. We call it, or they call it, and they've taught me in the last year and a half, leading from behind. And in fact, I was facilitating a training last week where we were talking about, so what is leading from behind? And they've educated me from that. We don't have titles and bosses and levels. We become a leader because we lead from behind. And they've educated me on that.
And supporting one another and building that support system.
Yes.
And realizing everybody has something to bring to the table, which is important. Cool stuff. We could do a whole show with you as a guest.
To BART, but
that was
thank
a
you
good
very
conversation.
much for chatting with me and for
Nice.
coming into my safari.
What's before you go, why don't you throw out their website, the company's website?
It's at WL Gore and Associates. It's actually, I don't even, it should be WLGore.com.
Perfect. Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And here's BART.
Thanks, Amy.
Cool.
Cool stuff, huh, Bart?
Okay. Yeah, that was it. Well,
yeah,
this is what I hear every day.
I've interviewed
So.
a lot of people that are psychiatrists, psychologists, business leaders, CEOs, scientists, and so I get what she does and what she's talking about, and I think it's cool stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we're actually working on, this time is being created because I think you can get really creative during this time as well and reach masses amounts of people, more than before the virus. But Amy and I are working on a branding class that I taught at Rider University, and we're going to be working on a virtual branding class for actors,
right,
and young people, so they kind of understand their brand and staying to the core values and the brand supporting that, and
which is important, right? Exactly. The core values are really what it's all about. Absolutely.
Yeah. So she's we deconstruct stuff every single day, her and I, in conversations. I was married a psychologist.
I do that too. I know. We sort of I dissect and I analyze it and I review it. I'll even go to a gathering. We'll be in the car, all of us in the car, and I'll review the party we just came from. Now, did we talk to that person enough, or maybe we should have said hi to them, or we didn't spend enough time with that one.
Wow.
Bottom line
People don't do that, Jim. No.
Bottom line to everything that we just saw, Sean, watching on the YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV, wants to know if you ever wake her up for the sound sleep singing show tunes.
Yes, I do.
It's time to get up now.
Well, see, she's usually up before me, so that never really happens. But I have gotten complaints from neighbors of singing too late, and I was doing maybe a concert or something like that virtually in the studio. So but sometimes she loves to hear me sing, and then sometimes she's like, she just yells at me and shut the hell up. So, but for the most part, she does like it. And I was like, Amy, what were you doing? She's like, I was listening to you sing. So she's a huge supporter. My wife. She was watching the show. I think she was listening from up there, but I don't know if she was watching the show or not.
Yeah. She could be watching it on YouTube or Facebook at Jim Master TV right now. We have another clip, and is this? It doesn't show the whole thing, but it says. It looks like a big black bunny with a pink nose and the ears up and a blue scarf. BART stars in. Is it the Disney?
Yeah, so I did an animated show for a season. It's called Gaspard on Disney Junior. And it was super, super popular. And so this is something I put together. And, it's a lot of kids know it. It's based on a book, a children's book. And they made an animated version of it.
with English actors, and then they brought it to America, and then we overdubbed their voices into American voices. So I was cast as Gaspar's father. So this gives you an idea, a little bit, a 3-minute clip of just of what the tone is for Gaspar and Lisa on Disney Junior.
Willie in Holland, she's a strong Dutch woman. She said, if I had been Amy, you would have gotten a pillow on your head. Coming into the bedroom there.
Well, Willie, I want you to know, I know you're about ready to go to bed right now, but I called her first. I called her on the phone and said, is this okay?
Smart move, smart move.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take a look at the Disney Junior clip, and then we will be back with more.
Okay. Cool.
This is why we did the 9/11 tribute earlier, because I knew that once we did that, it was gonna anything goes.
Anything goes. Well, with you, with me, it's pretty much that.
That's it. You have to live life that way. You got to be, you can have your structure and format, which we do here on our show. But if you don't have a good time doing it, what's the point, right?
I know. And now that you met Amy and you understand that she's kind of this eccentric character, she's this really beautiful blonde, short, like petite woman. She's gorgeous. She's so super smart. She's the smartest person in the room. She's so self-aware. And then what I want you to show, Jim, is our alter egos, Billy Bob Stupidhead and Marianne Eloise. And I want you to, if you can, now that you've met Amy, everybody, we have alter egos that we do for shows and that we did for the benefit. And I have a little clip for you. Maybe after this we could show it.
All right, here's the one from Disney Junior. Enjoy, everybody.
Cool.
Funny.
Children, there's no such thing as a monster in the...
That's it! That's the noise we heard! The monster!
But what on earth could it be? Achoo! Oh, that's odd. I never sneeze like this unless there's something around I'm allergic to. Achoo!
That's it!
Ah. How's your kite coming along?
All finished. Can you take us for a walk? Or for a hot chocolate? Or for something outside?
Oh, why not? Hot chocolate sounds delicious.
Come on, let's go!
Okay, what's the rush?
Can you see it? No, where could it be?
Something wrong with your hot chocolate?
No. Papa, can we go and play?
Finished already? Okay, go on. But stay where I can see you. There we are.
That's terrific. So again, that was voiceovers, obviously, right? For the animation.
I had to do ADR work. That's why, which means I had to overdub, which usually you overdub somebody who's speaking a different language. But in this case, there was another challenge. He actually spoke English. So it was painstaking. I was in a studio for hours just overdubbing somebody who speaks English, but he has an English accent. And his words, the way he accentuates consonants and vowels is completely different the way that me being from the Midwest does. So I had to slow down my speech pattern, and I had to match my stuff with the animator's, the Papa's mouth, which was really difficult, very difficult to do.
Absolutely. Yeah, that has to be. I wouldn't doubt that. But well done. Really, really cool. Well done. We have some great photos here that I want to take people through too. Tell us about this one right here.
My first national tour was Cats. And it was the fourth national tour, and it was my first big professional job when I came to New York. And this is just me in the makeup room. I got it down to about 45 minutes, and I played 4 different characters in Cats. And I believe this particular cat is called, not Gus Tiger, but he's the first, that's Gus Tiger there, the old cat, the old theater cat. His name was Asparagus. So I played Asparagus, Gus Tiger, And Gus is an old feeble cat that turns into an opera cat, which is Growl Tiger. And then I also played Buster Jones. This was the first cat that I did, in which I end up in the opening of, if anybody's ever seen Cats, you know, and we come out of garbage cans. This was the first cat I did, Asparagus. And I don't know if I've got Buster Jones in there or not. Maybe I don't have Buster Jones in there. He's a big fat cat with spats. But maybe I don't have that picture of Jim.
Yeah, I don't see that one, but I saw the other. Yeah. Here's another cool shot. Tell us about what's happening here, the folks that you're with.
Oh, so this is Les Mis on Broadway. And this is the guy that I covered, Ivan Rutherford. So he kind of looks like my brother. He's just a little shorter.
He does, yeah.
But he's wonderfully talented. He lives in LA and he's done some Broadway credits. But the little girl played, she was Cosette, obviously. I forgot what her name was. This is backstage in Broadway at the Imperial Theater, Les Mis. And Ivan and I left at the same time of the show. So we left in January after 9/11. So I was with it for a year and a half. And so when I joined the cast, Ivan had been doing Valjean for many years, and I came in as his cover. And there were 2 covers on the national tour, and there were 3 covers on Broadway.
There's the Civil War.
There's the Civil War. My first Broadway show, 1999. We were nominated for a Tony, so we got to do the Tony Awards as well. And I still remain friends with some of those people. Rod is my audio-visual guy. He was in the Broadway cast with me. And we talk almost every day. And of course, Matt Bogart, the wonderful Matt Bogart, is still a friend. Be in touch. I stay in touch whenever we see each other at auditions. But it was an incredible cast. Beth Level, you know, we lost 2 people. Leo Burmester, who was an incredible actor, and John Sawyer. We just lost him recently, and that was a blow for, I think, for all of us. There is some footage kicking around, and I'm not going to get into it too much into detail, but there's some backstage footage that I want to bring to the public and resurface. Anyone who loved the Civil War and loved the show. We have some incredible footage, but I can't get clearance because I don't own it, but I know it does exist, and it's pretty spectacular. So,
did you ever see Ken Burns' Civil War on PBS?
Yeah,
that was terrific.
I watched it several times just to do the research, Jim, and I went to Gettysburg and I took a trip out there.
It was really good, yeah.
That was an incredible documentary.
Got another cool shot here. Tell us about this one.
That's Ivan and I. And so I was in the ensemble, playing several roles, but I would go on for Ivan at least maybe once every other week on Broadway. On the national tour, maybe once a week I would go on for Ivan because the role is so difficult. You know, it's so hard for a guy to handle it 8 shows a week. And so that's why they have 2 or 3 understudies. But this is Ivan just before we are, I think it's on our last day when we say goodbye to the cast. And anybody who doesn't know, in a Broadway cast, when somebody's leaving, they sing Happy Trails. It's a tradition on Broadway with Broadway casts. It's a tradition just like the Gypsy Robe. So, and just so happened that Ivan and I were leaving at the same time of the show, which is probably one of the greatest, probably missteps that I made. I probably shouldn't have left the show, but I left for a variety of reasons because I was sort of burnt out. I was going through a divorce at the time, and I just couldn't. I was having a difficult time with the pressure. So, but even my dad says, I lost him in 2005. He said, "You should have never left Les Mis."
and if Dad says it, then you know.
Exactly. It's one of my greatest regrets. Because weirdly enough, the understudy that was understudying Valjean with me on the road, he was also moved up after I came to Broadway. His name is Randall Keith, And he ended up playing the role in the very last performance of the first company of Les Miserables. And we were all there. All the original members were there. The whole theater was filled with previous cast members to celebrate the final show. And I'm up there going, Randall was so wonderful, but gosh, that could have been me.
I tell you, sometimes that happens, right? You either there's a role or a job or an opportunity in life that either goes right past that you wish you could have grabbed, or maybe you leave something prematurely and then say, maybe I should have stuck around a little longer, or maybe there was something that was presented to you and you passed up on it. I think if we all look at our lives, there are times when we can say, yes, yes, yes to all of those different things I just described. There was a show I did. I've done many television shows, radio shows, hosted every kind of thing you can think of, behind the scenes, on camera, on air. It was a radio show I did one of the radio shows I did for a long time, many years, 18. And I think if I look at it, I probably did it 6 to 7 years longer than maybe I should have. Very successful. Everybody loved it. It was doing very well financially. It was the listenership was high. It's beloved. People still, when I see them on the street, they're like, "Oh, I missed that show." But we were ready probably about 6 or 7 years earlier, and we're planning to move on with some other projects that were happening, but felt so attached to it after all those years, didn't want to cut the cord with it. So did it another 6 to 7 years longer than my plan was. And again, successful, and we did a big wrap up, and everybody was ready. The staff was ready. I was ready. We were all collectively ready because we had other big things that were coming as a result. But it wasn't easy to just say, I'm going because I want to go, because I was the host, I was the producer, I was the whole thing. But so we sort of timed it, but I would say we timed it 6 to 7 years past the original because it was going so well. Because I've always done like 15 different things. I've worked with public television, and I host a lifestyle travel show, a radio show, news programs, all at the same time, as opposed to just doing one job and then you go to the next and you do the next. I've always hosted a lot of things and have been involved in so many different things at the same time. And this was something that was always there that I did. And I would say I could have left it 6 to 7 years earlier, but didn't want to say goodbye to it because I helped build it and create it. I didn't start it, but it basically was handed to me, and then it went through the roof from there. And everybody that listened to it fell in love with it, and we had a wonderful relationship with the audience. But I would say 6 to 7 years, I was doing all these other things at the same time, so that was great. But I could have cut that loose probably 6 to 7 years earlier. Yeah.
That's quite some tenacity, Jim.
Yeah.
I have to admit. Who would stick around that long?
Right, exactly.
I guess it was miserable, but obviously it did not sound, from what you're telling me, it didn't sound like a miserable experience for you. So it was still very creative and constructive. So it was all successful and great, and everybody loved it. And
I'll bump into people in the stores, and they're like, "Oh, I missed that show. Oh, can you bring it back?" And I'm like, well, we did it for a long time, and there were other things that we wanted to do in our career, and other opportunities and projects and things that I was actually doing while I was doing that show. It's just that became bigger, and we had to now pull away from that neatly to take on the new stuff. They're like, but can you still bring that back? I'm like, wait a minute. So, but that's a nice way to wrap it while on top, because that's what they did at the Dick Van Dyke Show, and what Seinfeld did, and Everybody Loves Raymond did. They had a certain plan, and sometimes you go past it, but some of them, they stick to it. They're like, okay, we're going to do something for 10 years, and then no matter what's going on, it could be number one in the ratings, we're going to be done. And that was sort of the plan I had with that. But I'd say 6 to 7 years longer than I could have done it, but I'm glad I did because it was just a wonderful experience. And
Yeah.
but then the other things that I was doing in television and other work was really pulling at me, so I had to say we have to wrap it up. We had to, conclude it because there's other stuff that's, next level that I had to partake in. So it was
Yeah,
good,
sure.
but similar as far as that. So that one I don't look back at it saying, "Oh, I left it too early." It's the opposite. I could have left it earlier. I could have said goodbye to it earlier, but like they've learned on this show, I'm not a good goodbye person. So, although you don't want to be dragged out of the studio kicking and screaming either.
That's
You don't want to be in that position either.
Yeah. It's tough. And I think I was like, this was 2000, so I was like, it was 20 years ago. And I was probably, it was 20 years ago, so I was, 35 going on 20.
Yeah, that's what
My
happened.
maturity level wasn't all that great or high. I mean, I wasn't able to really that wasn't a good business decision. Now I've matured a lot at the age I'm at, so I'm able to kind of focus on the bigger picture rather than get so
Exactly.
emotionally involved. And I think we allow our
Well,
emotions
that's
to
the
get
thing, right? With that other show, I was emotionally involved in it. So when you're emotionally involved, it's hard to say we're done or we did as much as we could do. We reached at the pinnacle of every level with it, and now it starts to become a little rote. The excitement of doing it starts to wane, and then you're like, I don't know, maybe the love of it starts to pan out a little bit. So those are the cues to now take that and move on to other things.
Yeah, and I think you have to have that gauge that tells you, hey, it's time. Hello, other show, time to get out. I mean, there were some people in that company, I have to say, that were there for a long time, Jim, and they were kind of just going through the motions, and I thought it was disgusting. And I was like, and I shouldn't have let the external stuff get to me. It's like, I just need to do my job. Don't worry about what other people are doing. But there was just like some of the moments there's no engagement in that, with some of the actors. I think they were just punching a time card. And when I'm doing that, put a gun to my head, shoot me, or do something, because I no longer should be in this business and do what I'm doing. I'm not passionate about what I'm doing and loving what I'm doing, then there's no reason for me to be doing that. So you are on Broadway, you're getting paid a reasonable salary, not a great salary, reasonable, but you're on, this is the Olympics of musical theater, and you're just walking through your part. So I was kind of like, that was so disconcerting for me. It was my third Broadway show. I was so excited about joining the Broadway company. And I realized the national tour company, they were so much scrappier.
Yes.
We had opening nights every night in a different city, but the show was clean. We were on top of it. There's no screwing around. Maybe there might have been, but it wasn't as noticeable. But I think these people were bored with their jobs. Some of these people were bored with their jobs. And it's just like, what? You are on Broadway in one of the greatest musicals ever written. How could you possibly walk through this and not invest? So that stuff really got to me, and it affected me in a very negative way. And it was just like, I gotta get out of here.
Right,
Sorry,
exactly.
Gotta go, guys.
Gotta go.
Gotta go. So that's where I was. It was just the environment around me, which I felt very toxic. And then there were some lovely relationships as well, and they're all lovely people. Everybody's lovely, and that I worked with. It was just that people get burnt out. They forget why they're there. They forget their purpose. Which is to tell the story, and all they have to do is tell it 2 hours a night, or what they do is over 3 hours a night. And that's it. That's all they got to do, and you get paid for it. So
That's a
I know the
plus.
schedule's tough. Yeah, I know the schedule's tough, but it's Broadway. It's just like so many people would love to be in your position. And there are a lot of people lined up around the block, a mile long, wanting to do your job. So that does happen. It happens everywhere, and Broadway is no exception.
That's right.
So
I want to show some more video. A couple people are saying they're having issues with Facebook. So go over to if you're having issues with pictures freezing or any craziness that Facebook loves to present every once in a while, just go over to the YouTube channel, folks, Jim Masters TV on YouTube, and you'll be perfectly fine over
Thanks
on our
for hanging
channel
in there,
on YouTube.
everybody.
Yeah, Facebook can be funky sometimes. They don't always like what you play and what you do. So go over to the YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. If anything happens with Facebook, lovely Facebook. So we have
there you go.
a whole show on that. I'm used to being in TV studios, radio stations, stage, and then you got to deal with all these social media aspects, which is very interesting.
Yeah.
So we need to do a whole show on that. That's all these little things that they're doing these days. Cybernaturals. Tell us about this. This is cool.
It's a brand new web series coming out. Well, it was supposed to come out, but the COVID hit. We filmed it entirely in New Orleans, and it was the person who conceived it, Jennifer Delotte. I worked with her on a show out there in New Orleans called Scandalous, based on the life of D.H. Lawrence. And so we became friends from that experience. And she wrote this terrific script. She wrote like 4 seasons of this band of agents, small group of agents, all best friends, all in New Orleans, working on a covert operation, but they all are superheroes. They all have very distinct abilities. And so I can't tell too much about my character, but my character is kind of the mystery man that comes in and has a relationship with the lead girl that Jennifer plays. And you realize that they have a history. And I don't want to give away his identity, but he's a very wily, savvy character. His name is Eric. And there's a lot of manipulation going on with him because he has a certain agenda. But I just got nominated for Best Supporting Actor with the Accolade Global Film Festival, and we got a honor of award of merit for the web series and for Jennifer's performance and for my performance as a supporting actor. So I'm very excited. We had the first season in the can. I don't know when it's going to be released. And we still have more episodes to shoot, but we have to wait until I can get out to New Orleans to finish them. But it's really well written. And there's a lot of technology stuff that I don't know how she put into the script. But it's fascinating if you're really into like nerdy stuff, like the Marvel stuff in superhero, and all the technological jargon. Then it's really, there's just a lot of also psychologial stuff because we didn't have a huge budget, so we couldn't do a lot as far as science, effects. But I thought they did a really good job, and it's the storytelling aspect of it that's wonderful. So I love the show.
Shot there. That's a cool shot.
Yeah. It's I can't tell you too much about it, but he is not. He's I would say he's a villain, and he is.
Do you know who you look like a little bit like in that shot? A little bit. Edward Snowden.
Oh.
You see it?
Yeah.
Snowden.
Yeah.
A little bit. Yeah.
It's a great role. It's just a fantastic role, and I have the best entrance in any web series you'll ever see. So you guys got to check it out. The Cybernaturals. I think it's coming out. Let's hope maybe in January.
And with that background that you have right there, you do look like you're in some motel room in Russia. And, folks, he goes by BART, SHATTO, but we're really interviewing Edward Snowden tonight.
Nice. Love it. I love it.
That's it. Here's another. That's it, huh? Dracula, the musical. And I just want to remind people are saying they're having issues with Facebook. What else is new? Just go to the YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV. We're also on Periscope and Twitch right now too, so you can see it on Periscope and Twitch. But go to the YouTube channel because that's what we really promote the most anyway. Jim Masters TV on YouTube. If you missed anything with this episode, this cool episode, you can see the entire episode again archived in its entirety on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. And Dracula the musical. Tell us about this.
This is my second musical. And
if you lean to the left, we can see you. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
Hi.
It's Civil War. Yeah, this was my third musical that I did on Broadway called Dracula the musical that Des McAnuff directed. Des directed Jersey Boys and a bunch of other stuff. He's a brilliant director. And so I played, the Bram Stoker novel. In fact, they just keep recreating the story. In fact, it's on Netflix now. There's a whole series of Dracula that's supposed to be really amazing. But I played the only American in the show. His name is Quincy Morris, and he's a Texan, and he's got a very long knife, Bowie knife, I should say, and he carries a sidearm. So he's kind of badass, but he's got some of the funniest lines in the show because he's very dry. But unfortunately, he ends up getting, slaughtered at the end. He kind of takes one for the team, but it's a great role. It's a fun comic role. He was a Texan, and I just had a blast. And what an incredible cast with Kelly O'Hara. I played opposite her, and Melissa Errico, and Tom Hewitt. It was just an incredible cast. Don Stevenson, Chris Hoke, one of my good friends. The cast was top notch. But we had to postpone the previews because we had a leak in the theater. So there were so many things that went wrong with this show.
Really?
And so it was a tough process, but I look back on it and it was like my first time on Broadway that I actually originated a role, which was very, very exciting. So that's always something an actor wants to do. When they hit Broadway boards, just like a lot of actors want to hit that original role, like create an original role, and I was able to do that.
That's cool.
So exciting, and I don't think we got nominated for anything. Didn't last very long, but the producer Michael really believed in the show, and so it ran for longer than it should have. And I remember opening night. And my first scene was in the parlor with the rest of the guys and Dr. Van Helsing. And I had a few lines that weren't supposed to be funny, but people laughed anyway because the writing was a little, corny.
Just want to say, Linda Odell is saying she's got closed captioning on her screen. Linda, that's on your computer or your phone. There's a setting that you must have it set where you're seeing closed captioning. So that is only an option that viewers have. We don't have closed captioning broadcasting from here. So if you have closed captioning under us right now, that's coming from the setting that you have on your phone or on your computer. Either, well, it looks like you're on Facebook, so it looks like it's Facebook that is doing closed captioning. So you can turn that off on your computer and your phone. Merlin is in Canada watching on YouTube. I would suggest everybody just go to YouTube right now. That's Facebook looks like it's a little funky tonight. Periscope is there and Twitch is there. And so is Itch. I mean, there's so many things now. Itch and Twitch and Periscope and WhatsApp and Snapchat and this and that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Now, you were also Murphy Brown.
Yeah, the reboot of the show, I came in and I did a guest star, or a quick co-star, where I played a Trump supporter. It was taking place in Pennsylvania, and in a diner, and it was just that I had a really funny moment in the show, and I was, and so I grew this thing, and I got the hat off the streets of New York. I was doing a play in which it was taking place in the turn of the century. I was playing a Pinkerton detective, so I had already grown this thing out. And then I came into the audition with the Make America Great Again hat, and auditioned for a role named Zach. And it was much bigger than what it ended up to be. but it's a really funny moment in the show. And just that, I was a big Murphy Brown fan, so
Yeah.
reuniting with that cast and doing a table read with them was like, oh my gosh, I think I've died and done it.
That is fun.
And it was so cool. So yeah, it was a brief little thing, but I had a great time playing the role and being on set. And it's one of the only few sitcoms shooting in New York at the time. This was, I think, 2 years ago. So I don't think it's been renewed because the show was highly politicized. And I think that turned a lot of people off.
Yeah, it could be, right, exactly. Ernestine in North Carolina says her Facebook is fine, so it could be an issue maybe that just a few people are having with their own Facebook pages maybe on their own, because Ernestine in North Carolina is fine on her Facebook page. Make sure you turn your closed captioning off unless you need it, because that is something that you guys can have maybe selected on your screens there. I love this shot too. Tell us about this one, Les Mis.
So even though I left Les Mis prematurely, I did get a chance to do it later on in a regional theater at Surflight Theater in Long Beach Island. It was one of those things where it's like I didn't have to audition. I was just immediately hired, which actors love that. So I was leading this beautiful cast at Surflight we were literally on the beach, had a great summer. The show was a huge hit. It ran for, I think, 6-7 weeks. It was extended.
Yeah.
And I was leading this cast into the role of Valjean. It was right after this that I decided to study classically, because I realized, Jim, it's like my voice was, I really needed the training to be able to withstand a role like that.
Yeah.
So I started studying with Anthony Lachura, who worked at the Met, sang at the Met for 20, 30 years or something like that, and have been studying with him ever since. So that was a huge game changer for me. It's like, wow, if I want to play this role again, I better have the training and the chops. So I've been studying the bel canto technique since.
That is cool. That is cool. I have something else I want to show folks here, and that is Broadway Round, more top 10 lists of Shelter in Place that you did. Tell us about that one.
Well, I collaborated with my friend is a comedy writer in Wisconsin. His name is Matt. He's a high school friend of mine. And I said, listen, I'm putting a top 10 list together for my show about 10 best reasons for shelter in place. And I said, can I get some of your ideas? So he contributed his ideas and I put my ideas together. And this is a two-parter, Jim. I don't know if you have the other part as well, the first part and the second part.
Yeah, I think we do, yeah.
But we'll play the back end part. The back end part is mostly his stuff that he created, but it's pretty funny.
Okay, here we go.
See what we got.
All right, yeah.
It's fun.
Here we go, everybody. More levity in our world of levity coming your way.
This is my top 10 list of the best things about being shelter in place. So you guys ready? I know you're sitting on the edge of your seats. All right, here we are. We're going to start with number 10 and go to number 1. All right. Number 10, take a bubble bath until May. Number 9, become an online ordained minister and marry your friends when they're not looking. I think my friend Terry would like that. Number 8, change your pajama pants at least once every 10 days. Number 7, this is a good one, I like this one. Pretend you're paying attention to your Zoom call while you're actually watching Tiger King on your phone. Number 6, make a half-assed attempt to learn another language and then make sure to tell everyone that you're doing it. Never done that before. Number 5, you finally have the time to figure out how that damn NutriBullet machine works. Okay, maybe that wasn't very good. I think you probably like when I throw the cards. Or throw the cards at you guys. All right. Number 4, you can have long, meaningful conversations with your dog. Number 3, Find ingenious ways to hide from your children. An SUV is pretty roomy. Okay. I think are we at number 2? We are number 2? Yes, we're number 2. Number 2. Get to finally experience how paint dries. And the number 1 best reason for shelter in place is you get to take a shot of Jack Daniels every time the pillow commercial comes on. I know there's virtual applause going on right now. I know there's a lot. I'm waiting for the applause to actually subside. That's amazing. Wow, thank you so much.
That is funny. I tell you, so you come up with all these different things. That's cool, huh?
It's fun. It's fun for my show, and I like collaborating with Matt. He's great. He's a great comedy writer, published writer, and
I just wanted to say to the folks watching, I just checked Facebook and YouTube, and everything looks perfect. Looks good. You know, the signal is there. There was going, so I don't know. Some people are having issues with their Facebook or something, I think, but we just checked our systems here, and everything is good on Facebook and YouTube. You know, the internet has its own mind, you know? The internet is like really...
Plus, it's not Mercury and retrograde. It's Mercury and Mars right now. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
That's what's happening, and because everything looks good on this end. There's a couple. There's a few more pictures here I want to show as well as we go along, and this one here. This is cool. Tell us about this one.
Well, the guy right next to me who's taller than me is David Hine, and David Hine and his wife
He looks like he could be a
Irene,
brother of yours.
Well, I'm actually playing his father.
Yeah.
In a musical. David Hine and his wife Irene created "Come From Away," the big Broadway hit "Come From Away."
Yes.
And so people don't realize that they've written other musicals, and this one was called "My Mother's Jewish Lesbian Wiccan Wedding." Did we get that?
Yes.
And so it's about a family. It's about a family, and Liz Larson, wonderful Liz Larson, Tony Award nominee Liz Larson, played my lovely wife, and she decides that she likes girls, and so she has a love affair with another woman, and it sort of, it puts some tension on the family, and so and Ann Harada played Liz Larson's lover, and then I'm the husband, so I'm trying to deal with what's going on here. My wife likes women instead of me, and then I think it was actually autobiographical that David wrote, but it was so clever. And if you like "Come From Away," you would love this musical. And we did it at NYMF, New York Musical Festival, and we won the award for the entire season. And so I got to play the father. I got to play David's father, and David was actually playing himself. So it was very autobiographical in nature. It's called check it out, My Mother's Jewish Lesbian Wiccan Wedding. It's really clever, and you're going to hear strains from that soundtrack, from that score, very similar to "Come From Away." So now they've written "Come From Away." Now they won't even answer my phone calls. So there you go.
See how that works? We have part 2 of the bonus round.
Here we go. I think this is actually this is part 2. Okay.
This is my top 10 list of the best things about being shelter in place. So you guys ready? I know you're sitting on the edge of your seats. All right. Here we are. We're going to start with number 10 and go to number 1. All right. Number 10. Take a bubble bath until May.
I think we aired that already. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. I think I sent you the wrong one. So
both are the same. Yeah. But in case you missed that, folks, you can take a bubble bath anyway after the show, because I think I'm going to with Mr. Bubble, of course. You got to do it with Mr. Bubble.
Yeah.
This is I like this poster, War Paint.
Yeah, that's the poster for the most recent Broadway show I did with Hattie LaPone and Christine Ebersol.
Yeah.
So that was incredible experience. I came at the tail end before they closed. There's Patty and I backstage with David, who's from Chicago. That's me on the stage of the Nederlander with a friend after the show.
Must have been tough when that closed, huh?
Well, I was actually contracted for 9 weeks, for the final 9 weeks, and I had auditioned for them before, a year before, but I wasn't right. Apparently, they cast somebody else. But when Doug Sills left the company, then they moved Chris Hoke up, and then there was a space, an opening, and they called me back in, and I did my callback. Michael Greif, the director, who directed Dear Evan Hansen and Rent, he said, listen, Bart, I hope you don't mind. You're going to be moving some set pieces around for this job. I said, I move furniture in my house all the time. What's the big deal? So
right.
I'll gladly take it. So it was a great gig, and all my I didn't sing a note. I barely sang a note, and all my scenes were with the great Patti LuPone.
Yeah, Patti LuPone. I tell you.
So
here's another shot. This going back to TSO.
There you go. Yep.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
That's me, as not as the homeless Gerald sneaky guy, but as me, coming out in a tuxedo.
Cool shot. Cool shot. Was that the show that they did on Mars?
They had some weird green lights, and a lot of the photos are all green or violet, or
they're very well. Yeah,
you're bathed in.
Yeah,
you know, it's one of the greatest rock shows out there as far as lasers and fire. And there's so much fire. That's Gerald. That's the role I had to create in order to save my job.
Cool.
So yeah, I bought all the costumes and everything to create that, and that's me, and as just Bart. So
that's it. Cool. Superhero triplets.
Yeah, so this is a show I did off Broadway last year. I think it was last year. Yeah, last year. That was at Second Stage. Yeah. It was Tom Kitt's new musical, and Tom Kitt is noted for Next to Normal, and he won a Pulitzer for it. And this was his new musical, and I was covering the lead, Bryce, and Nate, the guy on the left, was covering him as well. But there was a lot of special effects, and they had to shoot all of us in the special effects in case we had to go on. So we all had to wear the same outfit. But you know, Bryce was nominated for, I think, a drama desk for that. It was an incredible cast, and I spent 3-4 months with the cast. A brand new show, Second Stage, great theater, and I never got a chance to go. No, I actually did get a chance to go on, but not for Bryce in the show. I was covering 2 different roles. So what a great opportunity! What a great cast: Kate Baldwin, Bryce Pinkham, Nate Stampley, just Tom Sesma. Still talk to him. I still have these relationships, and what an incredible group of people.
Absolutely.
And Tom as well too.
You know, when you look at your career, which is very varied, you've worn a lot of different hats and been a part of a lot of different productions and projects, and really behind the scenes and voiceover and singing and acting and performing, the whole thing. What are some of the things that still give you that creative, those juices? What gets them flowing when you wake up and say, I'm going to, take on the day, and now we're going to go out there, we're going to make some more magic? What are some of those things that you sort of rely on for your sources of inspiration along the way, Bart?
Well, I mean, Amy inspires me. The world around me inspires me. The people inspire me. I'm inspired by surprising myself. I'm like, wow, I can't believe I actually did that. This was a huge challenge, and I can't believe I surmounted that challenge, and I transcended that challenge. And it's just a passion for what you do and what you love to do, and I think it's having a purpose. Viktor Frankl wrote he was a Holocaust survivor. Amy's reading the book for the how many time, and he writes that the people that survived, the camps and that horrific experience, the reason they survived was because there was a strong purpose for what they had. So they had a strong purpose every day, whether it was just a very small thing, it's if people are walking around without a purpose in life, it can be devastating for that person. So we have to inspire others to, we have to inspire others to find that purpose, whatever that purpose is. And it's all individual, it's all individually based. And I think my purpose is to serve. It's always been to serve. And I think we're in the business of service. And it's a very special thing. That's why I'm going into co-producing these 2 other projects. And this has been a very creative time for me. And like my friend Nick was like, well, you're not making, nobody's making any money. And it's like, I know we're not making any money, but I'm investing. I'm investing emotionally, I'm investing artistically and financially into the projects that I'm passionate about. And it's given me another role of being a leader and a producer and kind of being a showrunner and having a bigger vision and looking outside myself as an actor rather than, do they like me? It's just like, no, what's the bottom line? Okay, what's our budget? What do we have to do? So it's changed everything for me to be a producer for both of these projects that I would like to mention before the end of the night. But yeah, that has given me a new purpose during the whole COVID thing, is just hopping on board as an actor to these projects, being approached as an actor, but going, hey, I would like a little skin in the game. So I'm going to throw some money into this project and be a co-producer. Mm-hmm. And whatever I can do to help bring a team in to bring this vision to life. And so I'm really enjoying that process. It's completely different from an actor. We just hired our lead actor for the Jerry Duncan show. It's a project I'm working on. We just cast him. So I'm like doing all the casting stuff and going behind the scenes and sending out the invitations to the actors. And I'm like, wow, I'm usually on the other side of this. So it's really cool to be a part of that, and actually offer an actor a role. Like I was able to offer an actor a role yesterday. It was like such a cool thing, because I know what that feels like to be on the receiving end.
Absolutely.
So it's just kind of reinventing yourself during this time.
One of the reasons why I launched this show 19 weeks ago as of next week. Yeah.
Look at this.
In conjunction with all the
somebody froze.
And do all the stuff that you do, and
so congrats to you.
Did you enjoy yourself tonight? That was great, wasn't it?
Yes, that was great.
You're supposed to have read the teleprompter then. Yes, it was amazing. I've never experienced anything like this in my life. You are a god.
Well, you already know that. I love you, Jim. So
I know that. Right back at you.
The greatest respect for you on your show, and I love your show, and I think you're one of the best interviewers out there. And I was so excited about being part of this.
We were happy to have you here.
And it was intimidating, because I was like, I really wanted to give him a sort of a breadth of what I've done, because it's been so different, from rock bands to Disney Junior animated stuff. So I want people to get a sense of what I was doing, but what I've been doing in the past. But yeah, that kind of gives me, it's just reinventing yourself, especially during this time, and breathing. You have to breathe.
You got to pause. Well, this has been a reset and a pause, right? And we've been able to, everybody's evaluating their lives and the things they've done, and maybe some of the things they've always wished they could do, and things they never had time for. Like for years, people told me to create something like this, but I've always been so busy with my television work and radio work and all the professional stuff that I do, like with your work, that I never had time to actually build a home studio and create this whole thing. But we ran with it in May and started out, and then just it continued to grow and climb on its own. Not forcing it, not rushing it. There's no time limit. There's no people like, well, you should do this, and you should be doing this, and you should be doing. Why don't you change this? Don't do this. Like, that's not why we're doing it. I've even had one person that said, "Why do you show George Burns? Why do you waste the time Gilligan and the Genie?" Because people love it. That's why we do it. I mean,
Yeah.
and where's the script that says we should or and we're putting smiles on people's faces and doing what we want and building a community from there. And that's what it is, right?
Always listen to your audience. And I've done benefits and concerts where people were like doing very obscure songwriters and because it was kind of, I don't want to say masturbatory for an actor. It's like, well, I want to do this. And then my wife was like, Bart, just do This Is the Moment from Jekyll and Hyde, and you'll have everybody standing on their feet. And I'm like, you got to do what the audience wants. And that audience, they were older. They love This Is the Moment. They love Bring Him Home. They love Man of La Mancha. And all the rest of these actors were doing like, newer songwriters and that nobody's heard of, and no one was interested. It was just like they were just doing it for themselves. We do this. Every project that I'm involved in, I'm always thinking about the audience. The Jerry Duncan Show is a new project that I'm doing. It's a web series, and we got an incredible cast. And my friend June Osbach, who cast all the actors for your show, is a co-producer, and she's also an actress in it as well. And so we are in the midst of casting right now. It's based on a popular column in Humor Times. And it was off Broadway for a brief time and got great reviews. But I saw a lot of potential in the show, and I'm also playing because Jerry interviews celebrities as well as political figures, and in Humor Times are just little skits, and Dean writes these little skits, and they became very popular. There's 100,000 people that watch Humor Times and that read Humor Times. So we're creating a web series version of that called The Jerry Duncan Show.
Cool.
And so I'm co-producing it, but I'm also playing Trump in it because I've done Trump in my show as well, which is just hilarious, and it's so much fun to play him, even though people are like, but I just have a blast playing this guy. So I'm doing Trump. We have a great cast assembled. Somebody's playing, Liza Skinner's playing Sarah Palin. Jeff McCarthy's playing Joe Biden. Matthew Arkin was on your show. He's playing Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, that should be fun. That should be fun.
So it's such
site or somewhere they can go to learn more.
Yeah, it's I think it's the Jerry Duncan Show. Oh my gosh, we got a GoFundMe page. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, and we have a YouTube page. So just look up the Jerry Duncan Show. It just came out this week, so I don't have it right in front of me.
I think we just had a freeze frame there for a second. I was saying, is there a website people can go to learn more?
We don't have a website, but we have an Instagram page, a Facebook page, and a YouTube page. And it's Jerry Duncan. There's I'm sure you'll find it.
Just type it in and it'll...
Perfect. Yeah.
And that's great that June's helping you with that. And we actually, believe it or not, we actually have 7 people who find guests for the show.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, oh, sure. Yeah.
Wow.
They're all friends of mine, and some are in PR, some are publicity agents, some are, and then I find a good deal myself, or people that I've interviewed maybe on television or on radio, or so there's like a team of people out there, including myself, who bring people on. Yeah, and that happened on its own. I already had an idea of some of the folks I was going to bring on, the people that I've interviewed on television professionally, but then all these other folks said, hey, I have this person and I've got this one and it's just been unbelievable. That's why we're booked with guests all the way till second week in November. Just booked 3 more today.
Wow.
And then people are saying, I want to come on the show. I watched, like you said, you watch the show, you're a fan of the show, you're a viewer. So they're feeling the vibe and liking it, I guess. And because, again, there's no airs about it, and we don't force people to say anything or do anything. And it's everybody's welcome, no matter their size of their wallet or their gender or political aspiration, whatever it is. everybody's welcome, just to have a good time and learn
Yeah.
and have fun. And people even have
Yeah.
made some comments while you were chatting that they've learned more about you tonight by listening to the conversation with all the levity and the fun. Is your wife doing jumping jacks in the back there?
That's my dog.
Oh,
and
that's the
he's
dog.
actually-
Because
he's actually
wagging the
chewing
tail?
on his bone. Yeah, he's chewing on this, very hard bone. He's black, so you can't really see him, but you can see his face there.
Yeah, you see him.
Yeah.
I thought he was snapping the tail like, okay, you've been on for 3 hours. You got to take me out for a walk.
That's what he wants.
Or I'm going
That's
to
what
make a
he wants.
deposit. I'm going to make a deposit right here. And that'll be far worse.
If we only have a few seconds left, can we put up the Jerry Duncan demo? Is that possible?
I don't think I have that one downloaded. So maybe you could
No
just tell
problem.
us. Yeah, I don't think I have that
Nope.
one here.
Okay, I thought I put that in Dropbox, but not a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm also working on the New Works Virtual Festival, which is happening in October.
Yeah.
And we're doing 20 plays in 7 days.
That's
and we
cool.
have over 110 actors, top-tier Broadway and Hollywood talent. We have Marlee Matlin just signed on board with us, Marcia Mason, Seth
Fabulous.
Modesti.
Good
Incredible.
group.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this list of Mark Kudish from Broadway,
Excellent.
incredible group of people. So what we're doing is we are highlighting playwrights' works that's never been published, Jim. That's what
Right.
we're doing. So we have over 600 submissions so far, and the cutoff date's in 3 days. We have a play reading committee. I'm producing the event, co-producing the event with my friends Kevin Pollak and Jim Aud. They're both in Chicago. So it was their idea, and I hopped on board. And now I hired our media guy, Ellis Gage, who you had on your show.
He was on, yeah.
And Ellis is wonderful, and he's doing all the media for it. My friend Michael Yeshian did the graphics and the poster. And so it's very exciting. We are partnering with Actors Fund. All the proceeds go to Actors Fund because a lot of actors are suffering right now. And we're also partnering with Broadway World as well for this festival. So
Fantastic.
no one's doing this. No one's ever done this before. It's literally a virtual festival. It's one act, full-length plays, teleplays, and screenplays.
Cool.
No one ever does screenplays.
Keep an
and
eye out
teleplays.
for that. Yeah.
So
we'll
it's
keep an
the
eye
New
out.
Works. It's look up #NWVFest. We have
got it.
Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, NWVFest. If you're a writer and you have a script,
Yeah.
a one act or anything like that, I think it's nwvfsubmission@gmail.com.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
So that's another thing I'm
Good stuff.
co-producing. We are so excited about this event. So,
Good luck with it. Good luck, and keep me posted, and maybe we'll have you guys back and we can
Thank
chat
you, Jim.
more. And
Thank you.
I
Yes.
have to scoot off. I actually had a voiceover session at 10 o'clock, and it's 10:06.
Oh my God. Oh God. You have to
But
go.
fortunately, I know them and work with them. But
So sorry about that.
no. We just got to scoot off. But we did 3 hours. 3 hours.
Yeah, that's
What
pretty
show
impressive.
is going to do 3 hours?
No one.
Without charging admission.
I mean,
And
you
I'm
did 5
not-
hours with the Christmas story, dude.
And I'm
So
not
it's like,
seated.
what?
I'm standing the whole time. I'm standing.
And it's unbelievable, Jim. I'm just like, I've never seen anything like this ever. That's why I was like so excited to be on. But you know what? I mean, not that I really do like to talk about myself, but you know what? Instinctively, people do. The only way you can disarm people is have them talk about themselves. And so you do that in such a brilliant way, in a way that's not forced, in a way that's so gentle and so kind, that you're able to get people to really, I've seen episodes where people just like are bearing their soul.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm so looking forward to some meeting Jim. He's just a beautiful soul, and just, and just spending an evening with him and being on the show. So I'm honored, and I acknowledge you for the work that you're doing, and you're bringing a lot of joy to a lot of people as well. So
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Hopefully.
I appreciate that, my friend. And
Hopefully I am.
we met your family members. We saw the bathroom. We saw the bedroom. I mean, talk
the
about
jungle room.
talk
Yeah.
about getting to the core. We sure did. We dove deep.
You haven't even seen my view yet, but we'll do that later.
That's
Maybe
it.
next time.
You got to tease them, make them want more.
Yeah,
know?
this is the $1 million view I have.
you can't give them everything all at once. Make them want more, and then you come back, and then we show the other as the sun is setting.
And there's 2 songs I want to sing for you that I never got to sing. So maybe next time, if you invite me back, which I hope you do, I would love to sing these 2 songs, one from Hamilton and one from Les Mis, which is Bring 'Em Home, which everybody loves. So.
Do you want to sing one of them now?
No, we don't have the time. Just bring me back.
Just bring me back. I'm coming
back. I don't want to make you late. And the neighbors will complain if I start singing.
It's kind of like, it's after 10 p.m. You're in New Jersey, so it's after 10 p.m. and they might say,
They've complained before, so maybe next time. But I would love, and I'm actually re-inviting myself on the show, so that's what I'm doing.
You're a beautiful soul, Jim. Thanks for being you. Thank you, Francis. I appreciate that. Jennifer, who's always in. Jim needs a comfy chair during the show. Thanks for another great show. Have a great night, everyone. And because of what you just described, that is why you're here, Bart. I appreciate that. Really nice. And June, I will come with you. Fun, fun, fun. You know? That's funny.
When we launch Jerry,
All right.
Oh, yeah, she wants to come back on the show when we launch Jerry Duncan, which is going to be in October. Yeah.
Good stuff. And Christine in North Carolina says, I did what Bart said. A brilliant host brings on brilliant guests. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys are lovities. These are all lovities. Thanks, Jim and Bart. It's been a pleasure watching you tonight. We have enjoyed bringing you this Friday night of fabulous entertainment. Bart, you're always welcome back. Ernestine,
that's very sweet, Jim.
Thanks, Jim and Bart. It's been a pleasure watching you tonight. Our pleasure, Ernestine. I'm glad everybody's figured out their Facebook and YouTube. Everything is working smooth on their end. Good stuff. Well, Bart, this was a pleasure.
Wonderful.
Really a pleasure. And I really enjoyed it. And thanks for
I hope so.
Spending this amount of time with us. We not only had a great conversation, we went over your career. We had that beautiful earlier tribute to 9/11, which was very important to do it on 9/11. And then you opened up the house to us. There was lots of levity. I mean, this is
but no brevity. Levity, but no brevity.
Lots of levity. We even talked about leadership and how to be a good leader. I mean,
you got that from my wife. She's so smart.
All this for one low price. All this for one low price.
I'm telling you. And you know what? People, transcendental meditation, Wim Hof breathing, WIMHOF. I wasn't able to explain that to you because I've been doing this incredible breathing technique since COVID. That's saving my life. It's lowering my blood pressure. Find Wim Hof on YouTube, WIMHOF. Look into transcendental meditation. It's changed my life.
How you tend to be anxiety, high strung, always
you
thinking.
Think so?
Notice how when I already know the answer to a question, I turn it into a question. So it's not me saying it; it's you saying it, but I already know the answer. You notice that? That's a technique.
It's Jim. You're brilliant. But yeah. You think I got a little bit? Yes, exactly. I'm very excitable.
Any OCD in there at all, or?
There could be.
There could be.
But anyway, I do this incredible breathing technique. Go to WimHof.com, WIMHOF. Transcendental meditation.
Transcendental is fantastic.
TM.org saves my life. I wasn't even able. I was so tired when I was about ready to do your show because I didn't do my second TM. Jerry Seinfeld does it. So does Howard Stern. I mean, a lot of people do it. Hugh
Was
Jackman,
it hard for you to do it in the beginning to really to allow yourself to relax and breathe? And
it's so natural.
You have to hear your own breath and everything. And
no, it's literally a mantra, and it's being gentle with yourself and not forcing the mantra. And you literally go into like I don't want to say a deep sleep, but it resets your body. Yeah. It resets your body and it does incredible things for your body. And if I'm ever feeling down or sick or tired, I just go into my 20-minute meditation, which is just closing my eyes. I've done it in Penn Station, the loudest places in the world. And I tune everything out and it feels like you've got a nap. But 20 minutes is the equivalent of 3 hours of sleep.
So when you do it in Penn Station, how many trains have you missed? you wake up on the floor at 2 a.m. and the last train is left, and you're like, "What happened?"
No, I do it sitting.
Next stop, Newark.
Well, it is only 20 minutes, but if you got a good half hour, then you just close your eyes, you go into a TM and translate to a meditation, and you come out and you're so refreshed. I didn't have one this afternoon because I was rushing around trying to get all this information to you, Jim.
Yeah.
And because I was like, I just want to get as much as I can to him. And there's a lot of videos that we missed out and photos that we missed out on. So, but winhoftm.org, and it's just an incredible thing. Breathing, breathe.
And Willie, who said she was going to bed 20 minutes ago, never goes to bed. She's there. She's a trooper. She is there.
Thanks, Willie.
Willie's the best. And
Thank
Christine,
you, Willie.
a bit of everything on the show tonight from one guest, BART SHATTO. Thanks for sharing and entertaining and informing us. The tribute to start with a gift. Yes, the tribute to 9/11, absolutely. I wanted to do that, and actually I had to scramble and pivot to dig up that close-up television news segment that I did 2015 with that wonderful couple, Al and Maureen Santora, who lost their son. Go, Jim, I want to sleep. Yeah, she tells me in Holland when to end the show because
But then you had 5-hour show. So what about that, Willie? What about that 5-hour show that you should have cut off?
That's right. Exactly.
Come on, Willie. I would have cut that thing off at 2.5 hours. I'm sorry.
That's it. All right.
Oh, God. Well, anyway, go to bartchetto.org. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I am Bart Chetto on Instagram if you want to know what's going on with me, about Jerry Duncan, as well as the New Works Virtual Festival. And if you are a writer, please submit.
Who are you looking at? I'm over here.
I'm sorry. Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm just going to go off my own little thing. If you are
you looking in a mirror?
No, I'm looking off into the Hackensack Inlet.
By choice?
You know, Jim, I thought I was going to come on this show and make fun of you.
Doesn't happen.
He is so cute to make fun of. I can't wait to do that.
Quick.
It's like it completely turned opposite ends.
Yeah, all
it's
done.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing. You don't even know what happened, right? Gently and.
You just do it. I know.
It's my New York Irish wit. Comes out fast.
I know. It's incredible. I just kind of set myself up to be vulnerable, and that's okay.
You didn't expect it. You didn't expect it.
I
did
did
you?
not. I was like, I'm gonna have so much fun poking. I would have so much fun.
You just thought I was going to say, "Oh, it's all about levity and sunsets and rainbows." And,
yes.
Which it is. However, then there's reality.
Yeah, I'm glad you're able to keep me on my toes.
They love our comedy act. You two are a comedy act.
Oh my God. I was going to come on the show, and I came on very low energy, but the energy started to kind of heighten, as you can see, as if you watch the show, and it started to like blah, 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 because I get more excited.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm going to have so much fun making fun of Jim. And I've never met him before, but he's just like, he's such a sweet guy. And I'm just going to make fun of him and how long his shows are. And it's completely, now he's making fun of me. It's great. I love it. Because you just can't take yourself too seriously.
You cannot. You cannot, right? You cannot.
No.
No, you got to have fun. Willie's still there. Jennifer's Irish. She totally gets it.
Poor woman. Oh my God.
That's why we got to, you know what she's waiting for? She's waiting for the tulips. There you go, Willie. There's your Dutch tulips.
That's a good buy.
The Dutch tulips. Yeah.
She
wants to see those Dutch tulips.
Yeah.
All right, my friend.
Thank you, Jim Masters. You're amazing.
This was terrific, wasn't it? And we'll get together. We'll get together. You know, probably we'll go out for dinner, whatever. Me, you, June, the whole group. We'll get together. Once we're able to. Right.
I'd love to hang out with you sometime. I think we would get along great. Have some great conversations that would,
we
meaningful.
probably would be very super creative too. There'd be like all this juice flowing, which would be amazing. Yeah.
Absolutely. God, but I love your show. I love what you're doing. I acknowledge you for doing this, especially during this time. It kills a lot of hours that we have in the day. And the guests are amazing. So.
Does that include you? Those Jim, those guests you have, they are absolutely spectacular.
I'm the most popular, unpopular guy in the world. I mean, I have some Broadway credits. Great, Bart, that's awesome. I have a cool career. I've done some really awesome things, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm not Norbert Leo Butz or William,
you mean like a household name?
I'm not a household name, but I can tell you, Jim, I've been interviewed 4 times within the past, like each time, like once a month, I've been interviewed for podcasts.
But you know what's nice about
and I'm enjoying it. I love it.
I was going to say, you know, sometimes there's an advantage to not being a household name. You don't have the paparazzi rummaging through your trash cans right now.
Well, yeah, I do that myself. So
you rummage through your own trash cans.
Rummage through my own trash cans for recyclables, which she doesn't recycle at all. So, I'm just like, why do people want me on their show? But I think I hope I make an entertaining guest because I've got a lot of passion and I've got a lot to say about life and things like that, which we really didn't get into as much. I get more philosophical and meaningful in my other conversations, but you know, this is more.
You mean tonight you weren't meaningful? What is this fake? Is this fake news?
No. I was expecting because I've seen guests get really like bare their soul, and
are you holding back?
No, not at all. I think I'm a pretty transparent person. I mean, I can tell you, it's like I've been divorced, and you know, I'm estranged from my son, and you know, for 5 years. And
anything troubling you right now?
Well, other than being divorced and estranged from my son,
that could be. Yeah.
But I'm very transparent about it, and I'm
as you
like,
look out at the
Hackensack
Inlet.
Hackensack Inlet. I'm going to dive in there and just kill myself. Yeah. No. It's I'm very transparent about my past, what I've done, and I just want people to maybe not follow in my footsteps or make the same mistakes, but make better choices and not get in their own way.
Now, what kind of host gives this amount of time to guests? Nobody. I don't even think Dick Cavett went this long.
I was thinking about Dick Cavett. I'm a big fan. He never
Me
did.
too.
No.
Johnny Carson, all of them, yeah.
And
even Robert Frost. Remember Robert Frost?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But what about Tom Schneider?
Snyder?
Schneider.
No. Yeah, Tom Snyder, yeah. Yeah.
Remember him?
No, he did the Late Show on CBS. That was about
The Late Show.
That was about an hour or so. And then when he did Tomorrow on NBC, that was 90 minutes. 90 minutes to maybe 2 hours, maybe.
I mean, your interviews are like a Fish concert. You know, the Fish, they go on for like 6 hours. He's just like, he just riffs. On his guitar, Trey riffs on his guitar for like 4 hours.
You know what it is? Because, again, I don't rush people, but also at the same time, it gets so comfortable for everybody. We even forget we're on the air. We're just like people say, I feel like I'm in your living room or you're in mine and we're just chatting, and that these cameras and these lights and all these things just happen to be here. People that are watching around the world right now just happen to be here enjoying it. They're sort of like listening in on whatever the conversation is, which is kind of cool because if you get hung up on the cameras and the lights and all the other things that go along with it, then oftentimes you don't get the kind of free-flowing conversation. And I always say it's not even an interview on the show because I've done 6,000 interviews in my career. This is a conversation, and wherever it goes and however long it is, I have no problem with it. Could I had my dinner by now? Probably, but but
when you know when to cut it off. I mean, have you had guests where it's just like, okay, I have to cut this thing off. This is just
when my right leg starts to go numb. then it's the cue. Well, it depends. You can have a guest that says when you ask them a question, they'll go yes. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. Well, maybe, but I'm not sure. And that's their whole answer. Okay. And you're like, well, can you expand on that? Can you? Is there anything else tied to that? Anything? And that's happened in professional work too. Television, radio, where sometimes you can get a guest who isn't necessarily. They're fantastic at what they do, but they're not a great orator. They're not a communicator. It doesn't come naturally for them to speak about themselves. So you have to sort of. And I've done a lot of different conversations with people where I can easily deduce what's happening. I interviewed Sarah Brightman on public television once, and I remember that at the end of the interview, it was live on a national special, Symphony of Vienna, and I was the co-host, and I was the one tasked with interviewing her. Live national public television broadcast of this big special. She came into the studio, they put us together, and I just remember at the end of the live interview, because we had a live segment, then we would go back to the special, then we'd be back live in the studio and people taking, PBS pledges and phones ringing and cameras moving, and and she was, it was a lot, for her to see all this going on. So I just remember at the end, she called me aside and she had said that she thanked me profusely because I made the atmosphere, which was chaotic, live television, all this stuff going on, very warm and inviting and comfortable for her. She was able to emote and she was able to say things that she never thought she was going to say. And the producers loved it too, because she smiled and she got even more comfortable and, was inching closer, as we were chatting, and it was really, really cool.
Yeah.
So I've heard that a lot over the years. So we just turn the lights on, or whatever happens. We may scale it down at some point as far as the hours, or 7 days a week constantly. We might take a day here and there or whatever, but
I'm surprised in your schedule.
everybody. I've actually had family and friends say that. Are you going to take a day? Please take a day.
I just don't know how you do this, because there's so much prep time involved in this. So it's just like a lot of prep time just involved in sending you the information through Dropbox, but I don't know how you do this every day. I really don't, and I think about it. I'm worried about you, actually.
I have my fill-in, Gilligan. Gilligan.
Hi, Gilligan. And the skip bird too. No, I do. I was like, how does he do this? Because sometimes I'll go on YouTube, it's like, oh my God, there's Jim again. Oh my God, how is he doing this?
I had a
situation.
situation.
Yourself, Jim. Yeah. Clone yourself.
I had a situation. Well, yeah, I know. Next week is very busy professionally. I've got like 7 radio shows to host and a TV shoot, and so next week is going to be interesting with balancing this show with the professional work, because I got a busy week next week. What Willie is very funny, because we were on with a guest, and the guest, they had a lot to say, so we just let it roll, and it was comfortable. I had a good time. It was great. But Willie said she was going to bed, so she went to bed, and then an hour or so later, 2 hours later, she woke up, and we were still on. We were still on the air. That was funny. Christine says, most interviews, conversations here are marathons, but really the longest was on the same weekend with Scott Schwartz, who was in The Toy and A Christmas Story. And that wonderful conversation we had with Dream of Denver. Jim allows his guests to share without a cutoff time, so it's a beautiful thing for us all, viewers, guests, and hosts. Thanks. My pleasure, my pleasure. Well, that happens because a lot of times, when people are interviewed or they have a conversation, it's rushed, okay? And I've been in situations where we've had to do that professionally. Come in the studio, sit down. Okay, tell us about the book. Tell us about the play. Tell us about what you're doing. Okay, tell us about what your childhood was like. Okay, so what are you doing now? Okay, thanks. See ya. Bye. And it's cookie cutter, and it's rushed, and you got like 11 minutes, if even that. And how much are
sanitized?
Yeah, and how much are people going to be left with after 7 minutes, unless you're really rushing it, you're talking fast, and a lot of times, there's hosts and interviewers out there who are not listening to what the guest is saying. They have a list set of questions. I don't have any. There's no questions. Nothing is prepared in front of me. A couple of people asked me that. The guest last night, Frank Caruso, the illustrator and cartoonist, he said, "Do you have anything prepared in front of you? Do you have like a script? Do you have questions written, or are you just working off the cuff?" And I said, I work completely off the cuff, because I'm listening intently to what the guest is saying. I'm feeling the vibe, and as the guest is talking, I'm listening, but I'm also formulating a question tied to what the guest just said, not tied necessarily to what I think I should be asking, but I'm tying it, weaving it in with what the guest just said. So it's like a constant flow versus everything choppy. And that's just how I have always done it. And that's, I think, why we have these extended chats and conversations, because I look at it like a conversation, not an interview. An interview is QA, QA, QA. Even in my professional work, I'll tell some of the guests, I'll say, yeah, I know they told you this is going to be an interview, but it's really going to be a conversation. Yeah, we have, because one of the shows I do, the questions are pre-written and pre-approved and all of that. So the questions are all there and blah, blah, blah. And I'll tell the guest, we'll work off those because those are what you want to be asked.
Right.
But I'm going to throw a few things in there. If I hear some gem that you say, I'm going to throw something in. Maybe we'll go expand that a little bit more. And then they end up loving that. They're like, oh my God, I was nervous. I was a wreck. I couldn't sleep. I'm going to be interviewed on the air. Oh my God, I was pacing. I don't normally do this. But it felt so comfortable that it felt like a conversation. And I didn't feel, I had a psychiatrist tell me that once. That I interviewed, and she's like, wow, I was so nervous and you made me feel so comfortable. And I said, but you're the psychiatrist that gets $200 an hour. You're the one that makes people, you put them at ease. Yeah, but she says, but I was nervous because I don't normally do this.
Wow. Yeah, she's not used to being on the other end, right?
Right, exactly. She's usually on the other end. Exactly right, exactly.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
I just have a great appreciation for what you do. Because I studied mass communication and broadcasting in college, and so I'm kind of a sort of a frustrated investigative reporter in a way. And I love interviewing people. I interview people on my show as well, and I did during a post-person with BART SHATTO. So I have such affinity towards it, and I have just just like I was watching your interview style. Even Austin Pendleton was like, you're a really good interviewer. Like, I know, he's really good. So, I mean, I just have a great appreciation for what you do, because I studied in college, and I grew up with Dick Cavett and David Letterman. Now it's all so distilled with Jimmy Fallon. They don't really know how to interview guests. And I mean, I love Conan O'Brien. I'm a big fan of Conan O'Brien as well, because I think he's really compassionate. He's a great listener. So there's only a few out there that are really good, and they're good listeners, and they put in their quips and their funny jokes and stuff. But
Merv Griffin was great. Mike Douglas,
Griffin
all
was
those
great.
guys.
I mean, Phil Donahue, he got on my nerves a little bit, but Phil Donahue was one of the best as well. So I grew up with all those people, and so I understand what it takes to be a really good interviewer, and that's what I love about your show so much, Jim. I'm so excited to come on. To see, it's like, how's this going to work with Jim and I? So my energy is high, and I'm kind of a frustrated interviewer as well. And how's this? I have such respect for what he does, and he's kind of a chill guy, and I can be, but I'm not sometimes. But is our energy going to match? So pretty cool.
And it worked, yeah. I'm a Libra, so we're all about we're always trying to achieve
you are? Well,
balance.
So is my wife.
Balance
and my
and
son.
harmony. Yeah, balance and harmony.
I'm Pisces, so
Yeah,
my son,
Pisces.
my whole life is filled with Libras,
And
they
they
get
try-
along so well.
Right, they look for balance and harmony, try to make things harmonious and balanced, even things out. Right. Yeah,
My
that's
mother-in-law is, my nephew, my son, who I haven't spoken to in several years, is a Libra, and my wife. I'm surrounded by Libras. So I just get along with them very well.
What would you do without us?
I don't know. You keep me balanced and you keep me sane. I don't know what I would do without
Well, it's
you.
funny because I told people that, and they're like, and I say I should have been born on Venus, the planet of love or whatever, and they're like, no, we need Libras because you guys keep this place, Earth, from imploding. And I said, well, we've certainly had our work cut out in 2020, that's for sure.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
Yeah.
But just keep pushing on. You're doing great, and thanks for the work that you've been doing, and
My pleasure.
making people happy, making artists happy to be able to talk about themselves.
Well, we're both.
I don't like to talk like that. I want to say we're sharing ourselves. I want to share my life with you, and my life with Amy is absolutely crazy. When we come back, if I come back, I'll show you a little bit of stuff that Amy and I do. But every day is insane. What she does is insane. What I do is insane, and then we come together and we are.
So you're saying that you come home to the insane asylum?
It's insane all the time. And you got the dog, and then the
Try to
workers
say that
coming in.
5 times fast. Insane asylum.
Insane asylum.
5 times fast.
Insane asylum. Yeah, so I wanted to share Amy with you too, because she is such a colorful character. She's really funny, and she's a performer as well, but she's also a doctor. But our dynamic is just so much fun back and forth. And so I don't feel like it's like me talking about myself. It's like me sharing myself hopefully with the audience. And
well, that's what it is. Yeah,
that's kind of what. Yeah.
Like Jennifer Barry says here, she says when we are watching on this side, when they're watching at home or wherever they are, Jim and guest, it's interesting, knowledgeable, energetic, fun, and very comfortable. We feel at home here. Jen is Zen, and perfect. That's what. Not only I strive for here doing this, but that's how I've always been really with everything in life, is to create things that are comfortable. I like to create environments. It's the typical role of a host. I think I'm always a host even when I'm not on the air, because I'm always looking to create environment and comfortability and to bring people together. I'm the furthest from being an extreme person on any side, really, of anything. I tend to look to find ways to bring those extremes together. And so I think when you can bring things together, then we might not get every little thing we want, but at least we'll be able to, live in that harmonious. I think that's that harmony thing, balance, harmony. There's extremes over here yelling, extremes over there yelling. I'm not signing up for that, and I'm not signing up for that. I'm here. But if you can come here for 10 minutes and you can come here for 10 minutes, let's talk here in the middle and let's see what we can work out. That's how I've always been. Like umpire. Or a minister, I've been told.
The fact that you said that you're coming away from a party and you're saying, well, we didn't talk to that person. That person wasn't given my attention. And that's a person who's very self-aware, a person who's an empath, who's got a great deal of empathy and compassion. And that's also a person who has qualities for a great, great leader, because you're able to really kind of be empathetic about other people's. I can feel people's energies and stuff. I kind of feel that as well. But I just love the fact that you shared that with me as well. It makes who you are. I mean, who goes away from a party? It's like, I wish that person wasn't given my full divided attention.
I know.
Everybody goes away from a party thinking, well, did I look like an ass?
Right. Did you see what he was wearing? Did you see what she was wearing? Right.
Why was she wearing my dress? Right. That's all they're concerned about, because people are just so not self-aware, unfortunately. And it's like leadership. It's a tool, and these are things that you have to hone. And you may have them naturally, and you're just honing them and being aware of them rather than letting your ego get involved.
You're right, exactly. Because ego is a totally different thing, right? Being self-aware does not mean egotistical. There is egotistical, and then there's self-aware. Like for me, I've had a lot of conversations, some really deep, cool conversations with friends and colleagues, where we've been on TV shoots together, co-hosting, and then there's some downtime when they're resetting the set and the lighting, whatever. And sort of like minds as well. There's one particular female co-host where we have these amazing conversations, and she's really a deep person. She, along the lines of about 7 other people I've interviewed that are very involved in a lot of these kinds of conversations and work, has pointed out the same thing that these other 7 people have said separate from each other. And they said that, Jim, you operate from a higher consciousness. You're very intuitive. You can feel people. You understand in advance of it happening, and high-level empath. That's high-level empath. I keep hearing that.
That's a really special gift. I'm sure your intuitive abilities are pretty honed as well.
I can tell when somebody's in trouble, or when, like, even in this conversation, if you were struggling or if you were going down for the count, I would know how to instinctively sort of slide in there and save it without pointing out that I'm saving it. I'm not looking for the glory. Right. I'm not looking for the glory of having lifted BART up.
Yes.
Some people say, well, look, I'm I saved the day. I came in and that place was on fire, and I'm the one who saved it.
They want to be the hero. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do that. I'm a good support system, so I tend
Yeah.
to be the one that likes that wants to make sure the other person is taken care of and they look great and they're happy and everything is good for them. And even if I had to come in to help facilitate that, I'm not going to go stand on a mountain and say, "Well, I was the one who did it. Otherwise, it would have fallen on their face." You know.
Yeah.
Unless they aggravate me, then I might have to do that.
That's a card you may have to pull.
That's a whole other thing.
You know, and it's being a co-producer for some of this stuff too as well, and just everyday stuff. It's like meet people where they are. You know, and there's so many people going through so much stuff right now, and I am so compassionate over what artists are going through right now. I got very lucky. My wife, she's got a job. We're doing well. I mean, I'm still getting paid through whatever assistance, and I'm still able to be creative. And I'm so lucky to have what I have. This beautiful home, my dog, and
thankful
my
and
career.
blessed, because there's a lot of people that don't have that
It
right
is,
now. There's
you have
people
to
are
meet
on
people.
people that would never have thought to be on food lines are on food lines
It's,
right now.
I mean,
It's
it's
sad.
like that's why I think I just want to be in service of others, and you have to meet people where they are. I mean, even when it comes to the divisive, bipartisan stuff happening now, or you have to meet everybody where they are.
Didn't you have a sport coat on when we started?
I did, yeah.
Then what am I doing?
I know we were leaving 5 minutes ago.
We did the 9/11 tribute. There
You're
we go.
looking good. Yeah, but I think if people respect that, it's meeting them where they are and not trying to force an agenda on them, because they're going to come with what they come with, and just allowing them to express themselves. I think, I work with kids too. I'm mentoring a young girl, Grace. She lives in Pennsylvania. I'm just going to start mentoring her for college to prepare her stuff. And so she's very, she's impressionable. She's very smart, but she's looking to me to help her. And that's a huge responsibility, but I have to meet her where she is in her life, creatively, personally. And I have to, and so I can't try to force her into a square peg round hole sort of thing. And that's with just people in everyday life. It's, the CVS counter person, just meet them where they are. They have a job and they're working. They have to wear a mask, and there's so much stress and pressure, and the people that you get your medication from. Just think of all the people yelling and complaining on the phone to these people. So it's
it's understanding the human condition. Yeah, and understanding the human condition. That's what it really is.
You just got to catch yourself, because I wake up every day and go, oh, I'm not sick. I'm immunocompromised. Amy is as well. I mean, we are, it's like we can get it just as much but we are very, very careful. We take this very seriously. And, we just have respect for each other. We wear masks, we wear gloves.
That's what I do. That's what we do.
We have to.
Yeah.
Have to.
Social distance, wash the hands, wear the mask. Period.
You can't take this lightly.
Period.
So it's just being respectful of everyone. And it's.
If you can't be served at a restaurant or a store because you're not wearing shoes or a shirt, I see no problem with the mask, unless it's a medical thing or what have you. But then maybe if that's the case, then maybe you have to find a way to get somebody else to go to the store for you to get those things you need, or have something delivered or whatever.
Right.
If there's obviously there's exceptions with everything, of course, but generally at this point, so far deep into all of this, it's pretty much determined that it does help. And we do it. We do it for the good. And the thing is, when you put it on, you're helping yourself, but you're really helping the other person even more.
Exactly.
So if that comes naturally to you to want to help others, maybe to lend a hand, as opposed to arguing and screaming about it, then that shows character, I think, and respect for others. Because when you're putting it on, you're helping others. They found that you help yourself, but you're helping others. So if they have it on, they're helping you. that's how the world's supposed to work.
Yeah.
And not in just this situation and this year with the craziness of all of this, but in life. It's supposed to be, you know what, you're struggling, let me lift you up. And then when you're struggling, maybe they'll come and help lift you up. Because if we're always like, I'm over here and I'm not moving, and that one's over there and I'm not moving, and I don't want to hear what you say, and I don't want to hear what you say, nothing happens, nothing gets done, and things go on and on and on, week after week, month after month, and look what happens.
Yeah. You have to allow people to stand in their own power too, and make their own decisions as well, rather than forcing it down their throats. I think COVID thing's a different thing, because this country is just not well informed.
Right.
We're not overall collectively informed.
No.
In which we are working collectively as a one unit, as one country. I mean, Sweden did it. If Sweden can do it, we can do it. I'm sorry, Sweden may be smaller, but what did they do to make it right to have the lowest numbers in the world? They did something. They worked together. There was a cooperation there. There was collaboration there.
Yeah, you got to be together.
So we have the ability to do that. We really, really do. And that's why I wanted to bring up the Broadway closing during 9/11. That I've read articles, and I read some articles in New York Times about New York is never going to be the same again.
You hear that a lot, yeah.
People are fleeing the city. 500,000 people, 8 million people have went somewhere else. Doesn't mean they're not going to come back. I think New Yorkers are resilient and strong. I think this comes down to an ability of having strong leadership, and I'm not going to comment on that, but we do need strong leaders in this world, Jim.
Yeah.
And it starts with us. It starts with us being, anyone can be a leader. And it doesn't, you have to require education. It's just these empathetic skills and compassion and understanding and having some emotional intelligence. That helps you become a great leader. So we want more people to become leaders, because we are not being, it's just like the people that are in these positions are lacking in some good leadership, strong leadership. So we have to be leaders in our communities and leaders with our brothers, our family as well. And that's why Amy and I went through this Boston Breakthrough Academy program, and they teach you the skills to be a great leader and stand in your own power. And it's changed my life. And so, but I'm realizing I want to reach out to other people and say, listen, you do have the ability to lead anyone, family, friends, convince them of a certain idea. We don't think we have the power within us, but we do.
Mm-hmm. We sure do. We sure do. That's a great way to end, with a good comment like that. See, we went deep.
Man,
I knew. See,
I know.
That's my strategy. I know if we extend it, we will. See, that's how it works. See, we got it in there.
Yeah, it's good, Jim. It's good.
Absolutely. So, this was terrific, my friend. And,
I love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
What a gift! What a gift you are.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You as well. I mean, you obviously have that as well, and you have surrounded yourself with lots of levity, and you've poured it out there. And we're both creative types and communal types, so we want to lift up others, and we want to create and have a good time doing it. And
absolutely, that's what it's all
we're
about.
Blessed to have these opportunities, and I say that every single day in my professional work, and even with this show, that it is a blessing to have the opportunity to do it. We have our health, we have our families, we're here living now, and life can end in a New York minute, as we've seen. So the fact that we're here, we're breathing, and we can communicate, and if we inspire even one person in some way, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing, whether it's through just conversation like this, or it's through our the work that we do professionally, or just even holding the door for somebody at the post office, whatever it takes. It's all part of it all, right?
Yeah, I mean, not to be a load open, my first cousin, Darren, who I was really close with, who lives in the Midwest, him and his niece both, I have to say this, they both committed suicide within the past 5 years. Darren was my age, and if he would have had somebody to talk to, either one of them. And the other one, Hannah, was the young girl that was Darren's niece. And they literally took their own lives within a time span of a year or two. And this is my family. This is my, this is my first cousin. He was one of my best friends. And you just go, what happened? And if he had somebody to talk to and somebody to lift him up, and it's just, and to stop him from that, or have her, Hannah, it's just like we don't realize the power that we have. We can change lives and save lives.
And sometimes we don't always realize the struggles others are having because they're very good at masking them. And they don't want to be a burden to other people, so they don't reveal it. So whenever you see them, and sometimes this could be you and me too. Maybe you don't feel well that day, or you got a phone call that somebody in the family died or something, but yet you got to go out there and you got to be Mr. Wonderful and turned on the juice, but inside you're struggling with something, or you don't feel that great about whatever's going on, but you still be the professional and you still turn it on. But sometimes people don't realize, that everybody's human, and not every single day is going to be perfect, but it's what you do with the day and try to make the most of the day that is the bottom line,
Yeah, I mean, Amy and I, she's a very smart girl, and she's very pushy. She can be very pushy. She pushes the boundaries with me sometimes because I can be a pushover, and we go at it absolutely until I just and so that doesn't get ugly, but I love her, the fact that she does push me, but at the end of the day, then we're still together. At the end of the day, she's the person I'm taking the covers, say, hey, be on this interview with me.
You did.
I mean, it's all about that. And we go back and forth with very strong personalities, and she has a very strong opinion about my son and my life and my decisions, and I have a strong opinion about her decisions. And but you know what? If we didn't love each other, we wouldn't express those opinions. So it's just like at the end of the day, it's just we're still together. That's what it's all about. And she's got my back, and hopefully I have her back.
That's it.
That's what it's all about. So you got to have people who have your back. Even though it gets ugly or uncomfortable. Yeah. It's human nature. It's messy. Life's messy.
That's right. Yeah. You got to have the other person's back, and they have yours. And speaking of back, you're welcome to come back anytime.
Jim, you say that to all your guests.
Of course I do.
So I just feel like
and there's no charge either. There's no charge. That's it. 3 hours and 45 minutes. That's funny. Yeah.
Wow. We've got some friends like Sean Wiley and Danny Valero.
Yeah. Sean. Tomorrow night we've got Richard Pryor Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sunday we've got Colm Keegan from Celtic Thunder, and Monday we've got Barry Pearl, who starred in Grease, the film.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of cool people coming up. Melissa Manchester's going to be on the show.
Oh yeah. Don't cry out loud. Yeah,
it's gonna be cool. Good stuff.
Wow, what a cool group of people. I mean, it's just. So I know you don't have a favorite guest, but if I could be ranked,
I love all of you.
You're so sweet. Yeah, so I don't want to put that.
I would say they haven't been guests on this show. One has passed, unfortunately. I would have loved to have had her, but there's two people that are well-known people that we all love, that the interactions that I had with them were extraordinary because they matched everything that I hoped they would be and everything that most people would hope. Carol Burnett and Florence Henderson.
Oh, wow.
And really, those two really, I still would love to somehow, when I was about 1 degree of separation from not for this show, I'm talking, this was for actually a public television project, from sitting down in his home interviewing Dick Van Dyke. But something happened where the schedule got changed. It was a couple years ago. The schedule got changed because he got called away to go to Disneyland because they were doing a big thing for his 90th birthday. So there was that little window that So I have some friends that are friends with him and would love to, because I've always admired him. He's somebody versatile. He's gone too.
Yes.
Not Dick Van Dyke, but Dick Van Dyke, yes, but Dick Clark I always admired as well.
Oh, Dick
Because
Clark.
Dick Clark did everything. You could throw a show at him, and he could host music, he could host news, he did game shows, he did bloopers, he did New Year's Rockin' Eve, he did commercials. He was sort of like a middle of the road guy that didn't stand over there, didn't stand over there. He was always in the middle, and he could host everything, every type of show. And I've always been like that. I've always been somebody who's sort of middle and versatile, where I hosted shopping shows, game shows, news programs, entertainment shows, and I can just adjust my personality to whatever the scenario is. Dick Clark, very much like that. Ryan Seacrest also.
Yeah, he's kind of the young Dick Clark, you know?
He's right.
He
Dick
is.
Clark took him under his wing. I think
Whether
Ryan
you like
is,
him or not. But
also.
cut out.
Crazy. I tell you, the internet is weird, isn't it?
It's crazy.
It was probably a freeze frame where you and I were like, and people.
It's not Mercury in retrograde. It's Mercury in Mars. Look it up, and it's going to be like this for the next 2-3 months.
No, it isn't. You know what it is? It's Xfinity Comcast. That's what
or Pius.
But Dick
I saw a
Clark,
great interview with Dick Van Dyke on Merv Griffin. I saw a recent interview talking about his alcoholism.
Yes, he was very open about that.
So articulate.
Yes.
About what it's like to struggle with that on an everyday basis. I was blown away. I mean, Merv Griffin kind of got down to some deep stuff there, man.
Yeah.
You know, he really did. It was Dick Cavett. Sorry, Dick Cavett.
Dick Cavett. Yeah. And Seacrest is really good too. He's versatile because he could do, he is. Regis and Kelly, or not Regis and Kelly. Regis was a friend of mine, and Regis was amazing too. Another guy that could go and do everything, host every show. He was the original host of America's Got Talent. The original host.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He was doing live with Kelly and then flying all the way to LA to do that show, and then also doing Millionaire. I mean, he was doing, again, like I've always done, like a lot of different things at the same time. But Ryan Seacrest is really good. Ryan is smooth, and you can plop Ryan Seacrest anywhere. He can host just about anything. I think Seacrest is really good too. And there's a few people out there that just have sort of this middle of the road versatility where you can plug them anywhere and they will adapt to it and make it their own and work with it. And I've always been trained that way. I was trained in college and in career, and mentored by people higher than my levels when I was coming up the ranks, who said, know as much as you can about everything. Know what the lighting guy's doing, the audio person's doing, the makeup person. Know what the marketing people do, the sales department does. Know what the writers are doing and the producers, and know every little tidbits of everything. So that's what I've always done, and in the career, and I think in life too. I can, have a conversation and might not be an expert at that particular thing, but because I studied some of it, you can at least carry a conversation about it. And I think versatility is the key.
Yeah, I think it's a great survival mechanism.
It is.
I mean, even co-producing this stuff, it's like I kind of understand what's going on from a technological standpoint as far as audio, and I'm very adept at iMovie and editing, and so and some audio stuff, and Alice is doing the social media stuff, so I'm kind of understanding social media and publicity a little bit better. So I mean, you really have to be able to oversee all these moving parts and kind of understand what everybody's struggle is, or what their job is, and their job description is. There's a lot of moving parts in that festival as well, with the casting and the producing and the reading committee and the actors and then the agents, and then I'm dealing with Actors Equity and SAG for the proper contract. So it's creating a lot of great life skills for me that I'm able to do for these projects. They're very useful during this incredibly nebulous time.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It is.
cool.
It really,
It's
really
cool.
is.
And that's what makes you the best at what you do. You put 10,000 hours. You put 10,000 hours into like 10 interviews so far. So I think you're like an expert genius.
We've
Jim
done
Masters.
19 weeks as of Monday, and I
Have
think
you logged in the hours, Jim Masters?
and
Like my
right.
wife says, 10,000 hours. Did you put the 10,000 hours in? Yes, you did. Yes, you have. You're an
I
expert.
think we're close to 150 episodes in almost 19 weeks, night after night. I know.
That's 150 times at least 2.
Jennifer says Willie in Holland will be waking up in the morning and we will still be here. Awesome. No, we actually have to cut it because what happens with YouTube is if you go past 4 hours, it doesn't. No, actually, the streaming service we use only records up to 4 hours, and it doesn't.
You're kidding
It
me.
doesn't do. Yeah.
I almost beat that
are
Christmas story guy.
we are
Dang it,
six. We are
6 minutes
7 minutes
away.
away from 11 o'clock at night. Did we start this at 7?
We started at
PM?
7. We started me at
Crazy.
7:20, 7:25. So
Good
you started
stuff.
this
Well,
at 7
if you're
o'clock.
looking for ranking as far as length, you do have that. You're in the top 3 now, top 3 or 4. So you are there with I think Scott and Dreama and maybe one other.
Wow. I never thought I'd get there. I was like, I don't think
Okay.
Jim's going to want to talk to me that long. So,
Somehow we found a way.
Wow.
It was a pleasure, my friend.
I knew we were going to hit it off. I just knew it.
Jennifer says this is awesome, and she's been here since 7. All these folks have been here since 7.
Oh my
Christine
God.
says we just need to keep sharing levity, which includes all acts of kindness.
Yes.
Fun night. Thanks, Jim and Bart. It's
Thank you.
cool stuff. Cool
Everybody.
stuff.
What an incredible night for me. This has been a highlight of my month. And so please bring me back, Jim, whenever you don't have any guests who don't want to come on the
Absolutely.
show.
I will. Well, you have a great night, my friend.
You too, buddy.
You enjoy
You
that
too.
view of the Hackensack Inlet.
I'm going to take my dog out, and
Yes,
my
the
wife
poor
enjoyed
dog.
meeting you.
That
and you
poor
were very
dog.
interested in what my wife was doing as well. Oh, he's fine. He
Yeah.
can hold it. So my wife was you were very interested in what my wife was doing.
Yeah.
So I'm very appreciative of you.
My pleasure.
She's pretty fascinating. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
You have a
Thank you,
good
Jim.
night, and you
You
take
too, buddy.
care. You be well.
All right. You be
Spread
well
the
as well.
word. Spread the levity, and spread the word about the show.
I certainly will.
Tell
I
everybody.
certainly will. I put it all on Facebook today, and so hopefully we got some viewers.
Perfect.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks again for everything.
You take care. It's my pleasure.
Okay, and how do I get out of this thing? Leave studio?
How do you get out of this thing? What do you mean? How do you get out of this thing? Thing? Now that you want to go,
It's like my bubble chair.
how do I
It's like
get out
the
of
Jetsons.
this
Get me
thing?
off this thing.
You get out of this thing when I say you get out of this thing.
Okay, so you get me
So-
out.
Yeah.
Get me off this crazy thing. Jay.
Where's that
The
cane? You got
Jetsons.
that cane? Oh, this
thanks,
is funny.
Jim.
Christine
Thank
says top 3, I think, on length of show with Scott and Dream and now Bart. A great evening for
Oh
all.
my God.
That's funny.
Wow, never expected that. Thanks, Jim.
All right. You take care. Have a good weekend,
You
and
too.
we'll
You
talk
too, buddy.
again soon. All right,
Take care of
Bart?
yourself. Be safe and be healthy.
And thank your wife again, too. She was a pleasure.
Yeah, she loved meeting you.
We'll
Thank
see you guys soon in person, I'm sure.
Absolutely, I hope so.
Have a good night.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye. Wow, that was fantastic, wasn't it? Claps from Francis and Jennifer saying, this is awesome. And I do want to let you guys know that tomorrow night we do have, at the time of this broadcast, if you watch this archive, then this will probably have already happened. Richard Pryor Jr. is here. And then my good friend Colm Keegan is here on Sunday from Celtic Thunder. He also has his great career as well, solo. Barry Pearl is here. He starred in Grease, the movie, and so many TV shows and so much more. That's Monday. September 24th on my birthday, special night, the Voices of Classic Soul, members of the Temptations, the Platters, the Drifters, and the Four Tops. They watch our show. They love the show. Their reps called me and said, hey, we want to come on the show. So they're coming on the show September 24th, which is the birthday. Really cool having my good friend Bart SHATTO on the show, talking about his life, his career, his passions. We got a chance to take a tour of his house with the view of the Hackensack Inlet in New Jersey. We didn't see that view, but we'll have to. cool shots here. And some videos. And of course, we had that wonderful tribute to 9/11 as well. And if you missed that, there was a television news segment that I shared, which was a report that I did 5 years ago on location at the grounds of the National 9/11 Memorial and Museum, interviewing Al and Maureen Santora in celebration of their wonderful son, who was a teacher and firefighter, Christopher Santora. We hope you enjoyed the 9/11 tribute that we did as well earlier in the show. It was very beautiful and very touching, and thank you very much for all of the comments. We had a lot of levity on this show. Really good conversation. Again, we just let it roll. You know, we could do this show in an hour, but what the heck. While I'm here now, while I have the time to do these shows, we're here, we're giving it our all, we're having a good time, and we thank you and you and you and you for being with us here on the Jim Masters Show. And of course, with 9/11, we remember. So we pause again to remember those who have been lost on September 11th, 2001, on this September 11th, 2020. Beautiful show, lots of fun, as well as lots of great memories made here on the Jim Masters Show Live. All right, gang, we're going to sign off. It was a pleasure, an honor. Don't forget to relax, to breathe, take care of one another, love one another. And we will be back tomorrow. All right? Jim Masters saying goodnight. You take care. And thanks for watching this episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. Have a good night. Bye-bye.